Good news and bad news. The bad news is we have to play more Witcher 3. I know. I know, it's terrible. I'm not sure how I'll survive either, honestly. I might not. I might not make it, guys. If I don't make it, tell my wife I said hello. Okay. Let's really show off, shall we? Let's go over here. So, that's a bit of a trip. But don't worry. One of the things I found out is you can just do this and instantly mount. That's a nice option. That's a mod, unfortunately. Oh, come on. Roach, let's go. Let's go. Roach. Fine. Hang on. I swear. Hi, Hazardous. Hello, Puzzle Fury. Hello, Platy. Okay, so, take two. So this might expedite our speed problems a little bit. No more having to, mount up or walk to the horse or whatever. It's just mounted mode, as if this was World of Warcraft or something. Or Guild Wars 2. But not FF14. Mounting sucks in FF14. No offense to anybody who likes FF14. I mean, I kinda like FF14, so... Hello, Permeus. Hello, Darth Tyron. Hello, Corrales. Hello, Alex. Which one, Alex? For there are many. Although I guess only 3 you fight. Oh, there's a song I don't like. I knew we'd get there. I knew it was one of the combat songs. What in the... Oh, it's a wyvern. Well, we're not fighting that. Alright, Roach, I need you to help me. Oh god, it's Arm Devil! It's Arm Devil! No! Let's navigate while being sub 2. Oh god! Come on, Roach! Run! Oh, jeez. Okay, that's not good. That's not good. Okay, Wyvern's dead. We're okay. We're okay. Whew. Thank you, Arm Devil. Thank you very, very much, as ever and as always. Much appreciated. Thank you. Do you know what you want to put that towards? And hello, Upon a Time. And hello, Larian. Alright, you know what? I think this just isn't working.
Go.
I mean... Roach is... I like Roach, right? Like, I enjoy Roach. But he's just... excuse me. She's just not fast enough. So let's go a little faster, shall we? Jeez, oh jeez.
Looks like rain.
Ah! Hang on, there we go. It's easy to get stuck in stuff when going this speed. Go figure. And...
Stop!
Stop! Oh, and we're here. Sorry. So...
It's true. Horse and women.
So I want to explain what's going on here a little bit. I didn't actually get a nap today. I spent the entire time trying to get this modding work. I say modding. Why would I collect herbs? That's so strange. This isn't Oblivion. So Brigwin linked me a mod. And that mod was like, hey, this mod is super fast. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll try that. And I tried it and it doesn't work at all. Like, it didn't work at all. And it's like, okay, well, I dug a little bit deeper. And I figured out that the mod literally just added a custom script to the player.ws. That's all it actually did. So I copied the script myself and tinkered with it for about 40 minutes until I finally got it working at all, where the run speed, the sprint speed, I should be more clear, was about this fast. So a little bit faster than normal, but still not really worth the effort, right? So it took even more tinkering, and finally I discovered how to set it up as a floating variable rather than a point variable, or whatever the hell it was being seen. It wasn't being seen as a floated variable. And once I set it as a float variable, I could do this. Now, the best part, and I will credit the mod in this case, the mod actually has a thing where it just disables that entirely once you enter combat. You may have noticed that earlier. So I won't have to worry about going while fighting things. So this should help a little bit.
I have come from far away, to seek my son. He served in the Nazari cavalry. I must find him. I simply must.
I'm not one of your soldiers.
This is good. Our army refused to help. Yet help is what I need. So much so, I will ask a rock troll if required.
Interesting train of thought, ma'am.
Hang on. Before I continue, Arm Devil wanted to put that towards FF6. I saw that earlier, so let me jot that down really quick. NLG, nope, NLG. Arm Devil, FF6, IDC. So noted. Thank you again.
Why'd you decide to look for your son now?
He wrote letters to me, to his fiancée, regularly. They would come in the post each week, and suddenly they stopped. This was unlike him. Something had happened, I knew.
His brothers in arms tell you anything?
Some will not speak at all, others lie. This Quartermaster, for instance, he told me Herodoberth, my son, left the camp to scout and did not return.
Why is that? Unlikely?
He serves in the light cavalry, Nazari Brigade. My son was no scout. I require someone's help to find Herodoberth, or his body. Coin is no object.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll charge you 700,000 crowns. I'm just kidding, of course. I don't need money.
What's your son look like?
Unlike others, easily distinguished. In all Nilfgaard's army, I do not think there was another with his mane. The color of fire.
A red-haired Nilfgaardian?
His father hailed from Magturga. Folk have light complexions there. My son inherited this trait, and others, from his father. May I count on your help?
Yeah, sure.
Do my best to help you.
You will not regret it. There is nothing I would not do for Herodoberth. Remember this.
I'll ask around, see if I can learn something.
My servant strove to do the same. He drank with the soldiery in the mess, but met no one from my son's company. It is as if it has ceased to exist. You must speak to the Quartermaster. He is dismissive of me, but he will be more candid with you. I can feel it. A mother feels these things.
Guess we'll see.
So Cashel asks a valid question. He says, Lore, why are you so stupid? And that is a good question. Hang on. It's not here yet. There we go. Now, I usually think that the reason I'm so stupid was because Witcher 1 was reasonably enjoyable, but ultimately for me it was just a popcorn game. I mean, it was a nice take on the Neverwinter Nights format. Cool, I'm with that. That's a good question, Alex. We'll actually debate that later. So, but that should answer you. Yes and no. Anyways. Witcher 1 was a decent enough game, but ultimately I just find myself gravitating more towards other Neverwinter Nights games that I enjoy more, especially story-wise. the story of Witcher 1 was passable, but ultimately kind of forgettable, in my opinion. There wasn't anything about it that really struck out for me, other than a few specific details here and there. Witcher 2, well, I don't want to talk about the gameplay of Witcher 2. Suffice it to say, I despised the gameplay of Witcher 2, and I found the story of Witcher 2 to be universally bleak and hopeless. Just awful. Just everything is awful. The end. Like, that's the sentence. Witcher 3 bypasses both of these problems. The gameplay is reasonably enjoyable. I'll admit the combat isn't perfect for me. It could definitely use some fine-tuning. But I enjoy the combat enough. And I do enjoy most of the aspects of the gameplay that are not combat. The nature of interactions, choices, the mini-games, the buffs, the prep time, all that stuff, right? But the story shows a lot of really good polish, which I'm always in favor of, has a lot of obvious care put into it, which I'm always in favor of, and, to agree with Huthor completely, because he got there before me, Witcher 3 feels more like World of Warcraft than Dark Souls. Now, I want to explain that really briefly. And you're all going to make fun of me, and that's okay, I don't give a damn. Do you know why WoW was my home for many years? And I just want to be very clear here. There's no joking. I know I say things facetiously for humor factor. That's over there right now. World of Warcraft was my literal home for two reasons. For many years, during a really dark period of my life, when I had to deal with legal issues, when I had to deal with being a literal cripple and being hit and run over by a car, when I had financial troubles and I couldn't get a job, when I was literally dying. Now, it was a refuge, that is absolutely true, but it's important to note that there are two reasons why it stuck with me personally. One was in character, one was out of character. But both ways, I had the ability to do something to make things better. In the story of World of Warcraft, I, the player character, had the ability to try and make that world a better place. Yeah, we screw up from time to time. Cough, cough, Garrosh. But for the most part, our influence is a pretty strong net positive on the world. You know, everyone jokes, I defeated Ragnaros, I defeated the Lich King, you never heard of me. But think about that for just a moment. Warcraft is a pretty dark setting, but it's a dark setting that I had the ability to do something about, to make better. This is actually a similar feeling I have about Dragon Age Origins. Yeah, there was agency. I could do something about it. It wasn't stuff is horrible, period, end of statement. It was stuff is horrible, comma. And that was a big deal to me. The other reason, which isn't as relevant to Witcher 3, is the fact that I knew a lot of people, and well, real people, who, because I knew the game so well and was good enough at the game, I could help them too. So I could help real people, and I could help characters, in character, out of character, you see? Either way, that agency, that power, for lack of a better way to put it, was something that really resonated with me. Which brings me rather smoothly to Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is just as bleak in many ways as Witcher 1 and 2. Arguably, it's darker than Witcher 1 and 2, especially given some of the truly horrible stuff we see in this. But in almost every case, we have the ability to do something about it, to try and make this setting better. And that matters to me tremendously. Witcher 2 left me with literal, actual depression. Like, it made it so that I had to put the game down for a while. Witcher 3 left me feeling hopeful, or uplifted. Does that make sense, Cashel? Soldiers, in the last week alone, the Fields Hospital has seen 5 cases of the clap and 3 of crabs. Therefore, from this day hence, I have ordered an absolute halt to all consorting with local women. Whoever is caught breaking this ban, or whoever is found bearing symptoms of the aforementioned Temerian diseases during medical exams, will be flogged such that he won't even dream of lovemaking till long after the war ends. A note from your medic. My dear brave soldiers, in recent weeks I have examined a record number of you claiming to be unfit for further service. A large percentage of those I examined were assigned to patrols in areas stricken by plague. I prescribed them all an innovative cure of my own devising that consists of astringent enemas, self-administered twice daily. Most of the ill miraculously recovered after only 1 day of this treatment, raising suspicions that the pain they suffered might have been psychosomatic. That, of course, is highly improbable, given our codex calls for maligners to be punished very harshly, but just in case. However, I would like to suggest that you brave lads only come to me with truly serious health problems. Hi, Isermaster. By mistake, a letter was delivered to me that was meant for someone else. I have lost the envelope. The missive starts with the words, "My sweetest, tender ginger muffin," and is signed, "Your ever-loving little goosey." Ginger muffin, please report to Sergeant Gwen Fruey. From Vatia de Redu to Army Group Center Command, excuse me. Inform all soldiers, Temerian guerrillas are not to be attacked. Any planned raids or ambushes are forbidden. They may be engaged in battle, yet only in self-defense. Redania is our greatest foe. Any and all violations of this order will be punishable as per paragraph 3, clause 10 of the Codex of War. Looking to buy a high-quality barber kit. Price is no obstacle. Get this crap off my face! Announcement. Soldiers and the servants of His Imperial went missing while performing their duties. A reward shall be paid to anyone who assists in finding them. For more information, see Quartermaster. Speaking of Quartermaster.
Who are you? Why do you sniff around here?
Looking for work.
Wait. 2 swords, eyes like slits. You are a witcher, is that so?
Geralt of Rivia.
I have not heard the name. But you will find work here, this I know.
Oh, no doubt, Uthor.
Ran into a woman, Nilfgaardian, who's looking for her son.
I knew this one was stubborn. I did not know she would hire a witcher.
Let's say a mother's tears moved me.
What if all Nilfgaard's mothers came to find their sons? Can you imagine?
Only met one, and promised to help her.
I'm to reveal our troop movements to some Nordling.
It's probably worth noting that he does have a point. The Quartermaster has a point. But Geralt also has a point. This is another one of those undercurrent themes of Witcher 3 that I rather enjoy. The perspective of the individual versus the perspective of the group. And how those two perspectives clash so logically and basically they can't coexist properly. There's no way to really consider the nation as well as the mindset of the individual. So I'll go ahead and do this.
Now focus, and tell me everything you know.
Yes, I will.
I have no idea, Corellis.
Red-haired whelp, Nazeri cavalry. A short time ago, he and several of his company sought to desert. I ordered them pursued. We caught some in the swamp not far from here. Others managed to flee.
The men you caught, what happened to them?
We hanged them. Wartime rules. But I cannot say the red-haired boy was among them.
You're a Nilfgaardian officer. Expected you to be more conscientious.
If I had reported that any had fled, I would have had to pursue them. I've neither the time nor the resources. So I wrote that all are dead. Unlikely any survived long in the swamp.
See if I can't find them.
I have, in fact, Cashel. For those of you who haven't heard it, the parable goes something like this. You're walking along the beach one day, and you see a guy. And the guy has noticed that a bunch of starfish have been brushed ashore thanks to the tides and are stuck and are going to die, so separated from the ocean. So he's been picking up these starfish and throwing them back into the ocean. The guy walks up and is like, what the hell are you doing? Like, there's hundreds, thousands of these starfish stuck all along the beach. There is no way you're ever going to possibly save all of them. It won't matter to any of this. When the guy picks up one starfish, throws the starfish in, and says it matters to that one.
Deserters tried to flee on horseback. We're caught here, looks like.
Nothing can beat the herb mad method.
Fled into the swamp.
Of course, Uthor.
Fled into the swamp.
Nope, I already saw that.
Red hair. Probably him. Need to find something else to know for sure.
Hi, Cord.
Letter to his mother. Least I can do is get it to her. But that's it.
Again, you'll see how the movement is much slower in combat, which is actually really nice. A typical bad guy voice is someone who sounds evil. Fool, I will defeat you and crush you like a... That's a typical bad guy voice. What am I doing? I'm doing this. That's not the one. Dear Mother, this might be my last letter. My head hangs low as I write, for I have brought great shame on my family. I have failed my brothers in arms. In the hour of truth, my courage failed me. I ask no forgiveness, for I deserve none. I ask only that you pray for me. May you live in health. H. This is how every video game should be, right here. I love how much I sway just from tapping left and right. Look at that. Look at that.
Hey, you! Halt!
What?
Geralt of Rivia, correct? You were in White Orchard recently. Near Vizima.
Mm-hmm. Charming village, if you don't mind rotting corpses.
There'd have been one more if not for you. Lena. She survived, thanks to your potion.
Nice to see a Nilfgaardian soldier so concerned about the fate of some simple Nordling. But kind of surprising, too.
That night, when the Griffin attacked her, she was on her way to meet me. In the woods, near the garrison.
Lousy spot for a romantic encounter. If the Griffin hadn't gotten her, something else would have.
I know. But I could only ever get away between watches. Those woods, they were close. Listen, Lena, she has not fully recovered. I took her with me when I was transferred. Thought she might get better. But no, she says nothing, recognizes no one, sleeps most of the day.
I warned Tamira. Witcher potions have powerful, usually permanent side effects. Can't do anything to help now. Maybe a mage could.
I don't know whether to thank you or curse you for not letting her die with dignity.
Trust me, choice I had to make was harder.
So, follow through on that. Yay! Everything is awful.
My son, were you able to learn anything?
I was.
I wish to know the truth. Be it sweet, be it painful. I wish to know.
Your son is dead.
How did it happen?
This is interesting to me. Lots and lots of games since, you know, the late 90s have been designed around the idea of you choosing stuff in the game. Like, this is a fairly common gameplay mechanic, right? Has been for 20 years. What I find interesting, though, is not many game developers really understand that specifically deciding which choice you get to choose is just as important as allowing the player to have a choice at all. In other words, if you don't understand what I mean by this, it would have been very easy to make the choice here to tell her that her son was dead, or to lie. But they don't allow that. We tell her the truth of the fact that her son is dead, no matter what. What we do get to choose is why. And that's pretty common in this game, I've noticed. Not always, but it's a pretty common thing. This is, of course, a topic we could talk about for hours and never actually reach a conclusion on. Does the truth matter when it doesn't change anything? Now, you guys know my overall approach. So...
He deserted, was caught and hanged.
Lies!
Found him hanging next to others. Notice posted on the tree was clear.
I do not believe you. My son was no coward.
Believe what you will. Found a letter on him, addressed to you.
Mother, this may well be the last time I write. In all my letters I have lied. Forgive me. I am no hero. I take no pleasure in killing Nordlings. This place is a nightmare. I have borne it until now. I can bear it no longer. Not long past, they ordered us to murder prisoners. Do you know what this means? To kill defenseless men. I must flee this place. Oh, darling child. Forever. You have found him for me. Your payment. Take it.
Please let me reject it. Oh, come on! So I lose my mouse here.
Have a hard time finding any work here, Witcher.
Now, funnily enough, I do agree with you, Huthor. I was actually aware of that story of the first time he helped a woman. It's always fun, right? Where am I? So someone asked what our swim speed's like. I think it was Corrales. Apparently I can't answer that question right now. I thought that was water, but this is just swamp. Suffice to say, our swim speed's pretty fast, too. I'll just answer the question in summary.
Be gone. Come no closer. I know whence you come.
Sure. About 50 feet ago, I'm sure, is when you actually said that to me. Hey, look, a place that'll never be relevant ever. Actually, it's the Flash, Zastel, sorry. Until Sonic Doctor shows up, then it'll be Sonic. Whoop! We're pretty close. Be right around here. Yeah, a long time ago, Puzzle Fury, but yes. Oh, Lord, the crones. Speaking of things that deserve to stop existing. Anyways, this is our swim speed, so this is normal. And this is fast. I'll go this way. I'm not actually sure what the speed is of the ships. That just kind of occurred to me. God, this... Okay, this just feels awful at this point. Ugh, screw that. Let's get out of here. Leave helm. Leave helm. Oh, where the heck am I? Okay, I know where I am. I know where I am. I thought I knew where I was. No, I'm right. I'm right. Yeah, I kind of was too, Corellis, but... You know. What do you want? I already basically didn't take a break to get this working as is. This is me tapping this once, but this is just tap. One tap right there.
Wolves will tear it to pieces. Gotta help.
Okay, I helped. How you doing, dog? Doing okay, dog? It's just changing the speed variables, Alex.
A pet. Wonder what it's doing here. Got a key so dear color.
Hey, Tazara.
I think it wants me to follow.
Oh, alright. What's the walk button? Does anyone remember? Because I might need that from time to time, and I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Pretty sure it's not shift. Caps. Nope. Which means I rebounded. It's left control. There we go. Speaking of World of Warcraft, here's a familiar sight for anyone who's ever played WoW from vanilla to BFA. Ah, memories. Unmarked quests in a game like this? I'll be honest, I don't like that. Whoops, that's the wrong button.
Don't let him catch his breath!
Yeah, you're on fire, dude. Shush.
Something bad happened inside. Best go in and see.
Anyways. Okay, so that's one good thing about BFA Huthor. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Although I don't remember that. I believe you, I don't remember that. Then again, I actually can't think of any escort quests in BFA off the top of my head. I can think of one in WoW, in Legion, excuse me, that does that. In Ajuna, when you're escorting the Prince dude.
Looks uninhabited.
It probably says something about me that I automatically thought of Legion as WoW. Hi, PD Bar. So yeah, unmarked quests. I don't like them. Just to be as simple as I possibly can about them. In an ideal world, there would be a toggle somewhere. And it would basically say, do you want all quests marked, or do you want to basically experience it blind? It's kind of similar to the idea of playing with the HUD off, right? Without the minimap and all that. Which is a good option, and can obviously serve for immersion purposes, or can encourage you to go and explore, or whatever, right? But from a design perspective, I don't like the idea of unmarked quests, because, functionally speaking, unmarked quests only really fall into one of three slots. One, the aforementioned immersion, for the kind of player who just wants to roam around randomly and stumble into things, which is fine, but when you have a massive open world like this one, or most other games that do this, you can see why that would get aggravating. So, unless you're specifically just wanting to roam, it's not really something that's feasible, right? Option 2 is, of course, you just stumble into them randomly playing the game normally, and hey, there you go. And, of course, option 3 is what I'm doing. I have a guide on my second monitor right here to make sure I don't miss anything to show you guys for this stream. And you know what I think about always having a walkthrough up, right? So, I don't think it's really negative worthy, but I definitely don't think it's positive worthy. It would have been nice if this is the kind of thing that there was a toggle for, is what I'm trying to get down to. Moving on.
Something under the floorboards. Maybe they're loose. Or I could just wedge one up.
I think I'd want a Cheetos sandwich, personally. Also, I don't even know where a KFC is anywhere near here, so I don't... Couldn't do that. Come on. For years and years I succeeded in living a quiet life, far from the stinking cry of the big city. When I entered this voluntary exile, I left the whole world behind and hoped it would do the same to me. Yet lately I have noticed someone observing me. Times are unsettled. War turns men into wild beasts. I suspect it's not a friendly neighbor keeping an eye on me. Burrs, my only companion in my solitude, stands by the door at night and barks. What happened to Alexis, Hector, Gizmo, Dex? Hunger drives men to do the worst. Perhaps bandits now prowl the area? Fools, they know I have nothing. Tomorrow I'll attempt to explain everything to them. Quest complete.
Dog's gone.
Now, Huthor, this is going to sound strange, but what do you disagree with me about? People existed. Past tense, Melkor. Then we came along. We fixed that problem. Well, I'm being serious, Huthor. Like, as I just mentioned the positive aspects of something like an unmarked quest, then I named 2 potential negative aspects of something like an unmarked quest, and why I feel that that's a thing that should be a toggle. Like I said, it should be an option. It's this PD bar. Let's go and get this while we're here. Yeah, there's nothing in that tower. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Brinkman's got me thinking now, every single time we do that, there's got to be some kind of just massive tsunami in our wake. Ah! What's that? It's Geralt! Run! Hark and help, any who can. My goose has stopped laying, even though she's not but a year old. Pillar said to smear her rump with rapeseed oil to get her laying again. But when I tried that, she pecked my hand so hard I still wear the bruise to this day. So I'm asking if anyone knows another safer method. God's almighty, I can't stand another minute of it. Every lass around has got a man save me. So if you're somewhat young and handy, able to plow a field, and don't drink overly much, and most importantly of all, in need of a wife, come see Helanda and we'll both find what we're looking for. Early Tinder. What I find amusing about that is her requirements sound really, really loose by our standards. But think about it back then. How many peasants in that era were somewhat young, handy, able to plow a field, and don't drink too much? Oh, and were in need of a wife, of course. Lightning struck the carving of the ladies once stood by the stream, burnt it to nothing. Someone's got to whittle a new one before our good guardians grow angry. Ah, yes. The ladies. Oh yeah, it's true. He's also got to be able to read. I went to Crow's Perch to do a spot of trading. Them bandits just spat on my mugs and shattered them against the ground out of spite and gave me a sound beating on the lark. Take counsel from my misfortune and stay away from that perch of miscreants. There's a vile and dangerous spook, beast or devil of sorts that caused no end of trouble near our village, Honorton. We promise our profoundest gratitude and a sizable reward to the brave lad who can slay it. Looking to learn more? Come pay us a visit. Ask for the Elderman Sobermere, excuse me. Let's go. Grab that. Let it be known the Imperial Army is in need of a man who knows the area, hunter or scout, for example, to help us find the missing patrol. It is possible the soldiers fell prey to a monster. If this suspicion is confirmed, anyone delivering the beast's head will be paid the reward by the undersigned. Address any and all questions to the same individual. Glory to the Emperor! I understand that mentality, Huthor. I really do. But I've just never agreed with it, and I suppose that's a valid point. Javan and I have had a lot of lengthy discussions about the nature of player option and player customization, and the nature of, you know, basically forcing a player to experience something in a certain way. I've also heard some people argue constantly, it basically boils down to the argument of not every game should be for every player. If I could be so bold for just a second, I think the argument, not every game should appeal to every player, is a fallacy. There's a term for that type of argument, and I can't remember it right now. Please forgive me. I gotta look it up. But I think that it's the type of argument where you argue by jumping to an extreme. Witcher 3 should not appeal to every single player in the entire universe. But that's not what I am arguing for. I'm not saying that this game should be made gray wallpaper paste that appeals equally to everyone. What I am saying is that it should have options. You can see the gap and difference between those two things, right? Anyways, I know you don't do that, Huthor. I just wanted to rant about that really quick. Sorry.
Is it true? Northern women...
What brings you here?
Saw your notice. Can anyone tell me about the monster?
I can. The patrol has been lost. Somewhere along the south shore of Lake Windammer. We must know why.
What makes this Witcher's work?
Some brickmakers live south of here. They call their village byways. Almost empty now. Many have run away. They speak of a monster which kills. Redanians do not patrol there. That would be foolish. And robbers do not attack Imperials. That would be even more foolish. This leaves one option. A monster. You must learn what happened to this patrol. The Empire places great value on the lives of its soldiers. Do this, learn well what happened. The reward will be proper.
Okay.
Deal. I'll see what happened to your patrol, whether there really is a monster in byways.
Good, good.
I feel you on that, Tigzar. I really do. To be clear, I understand the appeal. This is why I argue so strongly for the idea that it should be a toggle. Something that you set as an option. And to be further clear, I think they're catching snails, guys. To be further clear, I think it would be awesome if basically every quest in the game was toggleable as whether it shows on the map or not. Basically an option to... There's what, 3 types of quests, right? Main quests, secondary quests, and contracts. I guess there's technically 4, because then there's unmarked stuff. So I think it would be awesome in a game like this if there were 4 options. Show on map, yes or no. 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 And that's it. That's all it would take. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. And I think that would be awesome, personally. Now, I know you can kind of accomplish that by basically turning off the HUD and never using the map. But you get my point. Or maybe you don't get my point, and I'm an idiot and not explaining it properly, in which case, ignore me. Any excuse for not giving player options? Actually, there is, other than time and effort. The biggest problem is if you're going to design options for the players, you have to have designed the game basically from the word go with that mentality in mind. There was an example that Avalon actually talked about recently, which was completely on point on this topic, and I can't remember what he was talking about specifically. But basically, the idea is a thing can only be an option if it is, from a programming perspective, it has to be attached to a flag or a variable, right? So if when you're building the game, you don't put those flags and variables into the code, when you go to make options, you basically can't, if that makes any sense. You either have to go back and adjust everything manually to add options for these kind of things, or you can go back and... you know, if you did it properly, you could just say, all right, every quest with secondary flag such and such, address it in manner visible on minimap, or visible on map, not visible on minimap, and then you could just do that like that. But if you didn't design that from the word go, you could see why that would cause a huge issue. Especially if you're trying to do it, because what you'll... I'm so sorry, Alex. Because if you're, for example, if you didn't design a series of separate flags for separate types of quests, now Witcher 3 did do this, but hypothetically, if you didn't do that from word go, then the only thing you could do reasonably would be set a toggle to show all quests, all interactables on the map, or none of them. Because all would effectively have the same variable attached to them. Does that make sense? The only other option would be to go back and manually basically manually patch every quest in the entire game to add those flags. So that's the option problem from a developer perspective. You gotta have that stuff in mind to begin with. It's why Dishonored 2 was capable of doing something like, for example, adding in tremendous malleability to its difficulty options, because of the fact that they had that in mind when they started designing the game. And yes, it all comes back to good planning. Nope. It's daytime. Alright, fine here. So I hope that answers your question. Because if it doesn't, then I have once again failed. I have just started a forest fire just for you. Apparently this isn't daytime enough. What's the meditate button? I thought it was B, but obviously it's not. Oh, I rebound it, right, so... Meditate, meditate... N! Funnily enough, the reverse is true as well, Leo Tamer. Adding quest markers to Morrowind was this colossal hassle, which involved just basically modding the game manually, because Morrowind wasn't designed from the word go to have quest markers. Doesn't seem to be working. Alright, I'm gonna wait. It's a little bit more, then I'm gonna give up on this one and move on. I got a lot of stuff to do. Hello? Hello? Anything here? No, I give up. Alright, whatever. Giving up, moving on. So I'm gonna go this way now. Oh! I agree. Oh! It's the appropriate reaction to what you just saw. Oh. Whoops. Oh gosh, I went the wrong way. I'm an idiot. Super dumb, super dumb. Super dumb, super dumb. I know there's a quest there. It's called A Greedy God is actually the specific name of the quest. I told you, I got a walkthrough right here. One final note, because this has actually come up before. When it comes to hidden stuff, stuff that you can find out in the world, I feel like there's... Basically, just because there's hidden stuff is not a good thing in and of itself, basically. I feel like it's the kind of thing that has to be well designed, just like anything else. I will use a direct example to explain what I'm talking about. Super Metroid. In Super Metroid, a fairly large amount of the random stuff you can find, usually, you know, ammo ups, like power bombs or super missiles or whatever, are things that you have to go and find, and there's a degree of logic to it. There's something either guiding you in that direction, or something that looks a little suspicious, or something that, you know, you'd run into naturally because, for example, you have to super speed through this section, and then you run into another thing which unveils it naturally. You know, there's a flow in the design to it, right? However, to also use Super Metroid as an example, there are a few items in Super Metroid which are awful, which require you to basically just scan every single square inch of everything you see in order to try and get to the point where you can figure out where it is, because there's nothing indicating it's there. Nothing.
Come on!
So even within the same game, that kind of, you know, discovery thing can be done both well and poorly. This isn't witchcraft, it's a crossbow, dude. A worse option. Can you give me an example of what would be a worse option? Yeah, I think we're actually going to have to advance the main plot to see some of these. That's almost a shame, but whatever. We're going to get one more thing while we're here, just real quick. Wrong direction. Wrong direction. I keep doing that. Oh god, it's done! Run! Run! Oh god, oh god. Yep. That's a wall. That's a wall. Welcome to the speedrun of Witcher 3. I'm kidding, of course. I'm nowhere near good enough to speedrun this game. Anyways, thank you, Dawn, very, very much. And welcome to the 2-year club. Now, since we've already gone through Zelda, do you have any idea what you want to put that towards? If not, that's fine. There we go. So my mentality was I was going to go ahead and just rush through all of the side stuff and then do the main stuff, which is also, that's how I usually do these kind of games in general. Looks like I can't do that, and that sucks. Sorry. So instead, now that we've unlocked that, we're going to go ahead and just smash some main quests. Actually, what we'll probably do is we'll go ahead and finish the side quests we have, and we'll work on the other quests in a bit. How's that sound, guys? So let's just go down the list, shall we? What's nearby? Like that, for example.
Dribbling.
Oh, you rats. That would come in
Just
your
sent
bones.
Grandad out for some joy.
That's kind of crazy, Tigzar. I was thinking Keira first. In fact, honestly, finishing Keira and Baron today... Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. Keira and Baron today is probably as much as we're going to really manage.
Destroyed this one too.
I would imagine an Oceans, but I'm not sure, obviously. That is an ugly idol, by the way. Of course, given what it's supposed to be venerating, that's not really what I would call a surprise. Whoa! Almost went up the hill. With sheer physics. There we go. Sorry, the game was really screwing up on there. It didn't like what we just did at all. Oh my goodness. Ah, crap, we're in combat. Run! Now that we're out of combat, run!
You the ones destroying shrines all over Velen?
What's that got to do with you?
What's it got to do with you?
We are the heralds of lightning. Heavy drops from leaden clouds. Unleashed, the lightning's name shall be Overman.
Sure. Whoops, I apparently have caps lock on. Banjo-Kazooie, you got it. Hope you enjoyed, by the way. GDQ, I mean. You have no fear of the Gold's wrath.
The locals claim the gods are unhappy. No fear of their wrath?
The wrath of the gods. The gods are dead. We but dispose of their rotting remains, the dying embers of superstition that harms.
Great. Need a favor, though. You gotta clean up after yourselves here. Then go back to wherever you came from. Dispose of those embers there.
Religion is the opiate of the masses. The gods are dead. Thus speaks Master Friedrich of Oxenfurt. Common folk fear religion and the priests, not the gods. And this fear enslaves us in fetters of ignorance. We must forge a new morality, or rid ourselves of morality altogether.
What? Like, okay, I'm sorry. I was just thinking, oh, geez, he's going to bring up the whole superstition religion topic. And then he didn't. He's just a crazy guy. You know what?
You'll do what you want. But if I were you, I'd get out of here, on account of the ghouls.
And you beware, for he who long fights monsters turns monster himself, and the, abyss gazes into him also.
Sheesh, students.
I know, right?
Is there a land where I might find more of your kind?
I'm okay with failing that quest. Shrug. So, quick aside. Oh crap, you're right, go flubbies. There we go, we're good. The, I was gonna say something. I've always had the feeling that Geralt has an extremely live and let live approach to people. I don't mean literally, because obviously he kills lots and lots of people. What I mean by that is more along the lines of, I mean, you do whatever, right? But I'm a homosexual. Okay, why do I care? Well, but I'm a dwarf. Okay, and? But me troll. Yeah, that's cool. Like, he just doesn't give a damn, right? What matters to him is the kind of things you do, not the kind of things that you are. And I feel that also applies to religion. Now, this is just theory crafting at this point, but I've always had a weird feeling that part of the reason he feels that way specifically about, you know, cults or local superstitions or whatever, is because those things usually have something couched in something more real. Like, for example, an actual, you know, noon wraith, or actual crones who are in the swamp, and blah, 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 blah. You get the idea, right? So, yeah, his best friend's an elder vampire, for God's sake. So yeah, I've always gotten that kind of impression from him, because he tends to be more protective of people, even if they have, you know, backwards religions or whatever, because as long as it's not actually hurting anybody, who cares? And there might be something real behind it. And again, the crones are a real thing in Velen, so whatever, as they say. Where am I? Also true, Leander.
Ghouls. And where there's ghouls, there's usually corpses.
Nah, there's no corpses here. Well, now there are. But, I mean, there weren't earlier.
Damn.
Oh, yeah, by the way, yes, I know that all the quotes were,
You can come out.
you know, philosophical quotes. So you can take your pick. Either they're making fun of the philosophies themselves, or they're making fun of philosophy students, which is what I was taking the joke as.
A witcher.
What happened?
Nilfgaardians came plundering, looking for valuables, as if we was rich.
Who killed them? Couldn't have been you.
I don't know. Must have been those beasts you slaughtered.
Something stinks, and I don't mean the corpses.
Was how it was. Why dwell on it?
Someone's paid me to dwell.
And who might that be?
That's for me to know. Gonna look around. Best stay out of my way.
Dun, dun, dun. Now, don't make me kill you guys. I don't want to do it, but I will, if I have to.
Wasn't a fair fight. Didn't stand a chance.
Exactly, Jigsaw. That's pretty much exactly my point. I have actually known, well, the stereotype of the philosophy student multiple times in my life. Oops, wrong button. Aw.
Thrown to the ground with great force. Internal hemorrhaging. Jaws strong enough to crush armor. Scent of blood still strong. Ought to follow it.
There's nothing there.
Tracks lead to this house. What happened here?
What do you mean, what happened?
Last chance. What happened to the Nilfgaardians? What's behind that door?
What do I know?
Listen, you. If you don't tell me everything you know, you could all die. Understand? Is that a burden you can live with?
There's tunnels beneath the village.
Tunnels?
Elven ruins. We scavenge them for trinkets, small treasures. Sell them to Novigrad merchants. No one expected anything bad to come of it. We dug through some rubble. Found a chamber. The beast slept inside. We felled the prop so the ceiling had collapsed. Didn't bury the monster, though.
What did the monster look like?
'Twere dark down below. Couldn't see.
So how'd it kill the Nilfgaardians?
I ran. Couldn't watch it happen.
Give me the key to the door.
You'd go in?
No. Want to pour wax through its head, tell you your fortune. Now give me the key. So, correct me if I'm wrong. You dug through to the monster's lair, then buried the entrance, but the Nilfgaardians opened it again to look for treasure. Beast killed the Black Ones and returned to its lair. You wanted to bury the corpses, but their stench lured ghouls to the village. Now I'm here. Sound about right?
'Tis as you say. Yes.
I'm going down there. If I'm gone long, run. Barring the door, nailing it shut resolves nothing. There are other ways out of the tunnels. Gotta be.
I love that. If I'm gone long, run. Just run. Oh, there we go.
Planks can be lifted.
We'd show the animation, but we're going to cover it by clever camera work. Because clever camera work is awesome. Everything is awesome. Everything in Witcher 3 is awesome when you're part of a team.
Nekimara hibernated here till the villagers woke.
Whoop, wrong button. If I'm not mistaken, a lesser vampire than a catacomb. I could be wrong, though. Or I should say an even lesser. Can't. There we go. Maybe. Other way, other way. This is why this isn't a full lore run. I think I've said that a few times. Because I keep saying, like, I think this is true. I think such and such is accurate. I think what's going on here is blah, 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 blah. But I'm not really sure. And I never will be. Well, I'm glad to have you here, Tazara. Especially for such a long-term stream. A lore stroll.
Gods, he lives.
Found an Ekimara hibernating underground. It was old. Must have been asleep for centuries.
An Ekimara?
Vampire. Won't trouble you again.
You cut off its head, drive a stake through its heart.
Did what I had to. Don't go down into those tunnels anymore. Ekimara aren't known to be loners.
You've done well, but others hired you. Said so yourself. They's ought to pay you.
Farewell.
I mean, I wasn't asking for money, you jackass. Tsunami! Anyways, Armed Devil, basically the answer to your question is no. FF6, sadly, doesn't really have a definitive edition, in my opinion. It has various editions which all have some issue or another that prevents them from being definitive. Now, I would say that the GBA version is the best version available, but it still has several issues, not the least of which being procuring it. The SNES version is acceptable, but has several bugs and a bad translation at several times. So, I would basically go for the GBA version on top, followed probably by the Steam version and the phone version, followed by the SNES version.
What brings you here?
Hear about the missing patrol. Been to byways. A vampire was terrorizing the village.
This is why they did not return.
Ekimari are tough, even for a group of soldiers.
We will bury them with honors, as heroes. Your reward, well deserved.
Most women bathe but once every 3.
Yes, they only bathe once every 3 moons. It's literally called Play How You Want To, Bragwin. It's a mod that adds a lot of options. Funny how that works out. Okay, so we took out the Ekimara. That was a close one. Let me double check, make sure we got nothing down here. Whoop, hello, what's that? Oh, I forgot to talk to that guy. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Just gonna... I know, right, Alex? Yeah, unfortunately, the GBA card is quite hard to come around to get a hold of these days. I think it's only like $60 on Amazon right now. Listen to me, only. That's why I'm willing to go ahead and recommend the Steam port and the iOS port, even though both are lazy, terrible ports. And they are. Because they have the SNES music and the GBA translation. So even though they're lazy ports with issues, at the very least you are getting most of the meat of Final Fantasy VI in both.
Greetings, Quartermaster.
Honor and glory, Geralt. How can I help?
And please stop mind-controlling me.
Found your notice.
Ah, yes. You Witchers are said to be excellent trackers. If this is true, you may indeed be able to aid me. Some days ago, I sent a unit of scouts to the wood across the lake. None has returned. Find my men, bring them back to camp. I will pay you well, as it stands in the notice, and not a couple more, mind you. We must have order in the ledgers as well.
Okay.
Local peasants don't exactly see you as liberators.
Say what you mean, Witcher.
Small unit, isolated area. Might have gone at your men with pitchforks.
A handful of yokels in ragged foot wrappings cut down a unit of Imperial scouts. What else? Perhaps a dragon ate them. Esse bleu d'yoc.
Why'd your men go to the woods? Any specific reason?
None. A patrol, as the code ordains.
Fine. I'll look into it.
Begin your search across the lake, where we saw them cross. And good luck, Witcher. I saw you.
Barbarians.
Nilfgaardian prints again. Came this way escorting a group of barefoot peasants? Or was it the other way around? What's that stench?
Yeah, there are dragons in this setting, but they're pretty damn rare.
Bodies strangely contorted. This one was poisoned.
We do encounter a few wyverns in Witcher 3, but I don't believe a full-fledged dragon is present at all.
Wyvern. Wonderful.
Speaking of which... I like to think he was talking to his buddy and didn't even see us. And us racing by allowed his buddy a chance to escape for just a moment. He's like, hey, come back here! Whoa, we went pretty far up that cliff. There we go, there we go.
Dribbling.
Hey.
Is it true? Northern women bathe.
Greetings, Quartermaster.
Honor and glory, Geralt. How can I help?
Found your soldiers, meaning their bodies. Female wyvern killed them. They wandered into her hunting ground.
A wyvern? Bleu de peste.
Your men must have provoked her.
I see. Thank you, Witcher. Your reward, as in the notice, fail.
So, I'll be 100% honest. I don't actually know which of these contracts have a decent amount of story and which of them don't. Some of them are pretty awesome. We've actually already seen several contracts that are pretty awesome. Some of them are just, you know, here's a bit of a story, and that's it. Like in this case, the Nilfgaardians were there, they killed the prisoners, they provoked the wyvern attacked, they died. And that is basically the extent of the story. I only point that out because I'm basically going to try to do all the contracts because I don't know which are good and which are not. And it's
Honorton. Necrophages. Great, except
and it's not like it takes us that long to get around, does it? Come on. Hey, Roting.
Soul in sight. Something evil's been here. Necrophages appeared after.
For some reason, there's a whole lot of spoons.
Necrophages tore the body apart. Can't say what killed him, though.
So this is a fun quest. We talked about this one a lot when we streamed this last time.
Sword wounds. Fire still burning. This happened Somebody's well off. Especially for Velen. A Leshen's head. Chopped off with a sharp knife. Well, well. Somebody beat me to it.
That is true, Sonoshi.
First cut severed the aorta. Second hit the femoral artery. He died quickly. Didn't put up a fight. Gut sliced open. Probably died defending its owner.
So, I'm just going to go ahead and jump ahead a little bit here for those of you who know this quest. What would you do in this case?
Blade pierced her back, between vertebrae. Severed her spinal cord. She couldn't move. Bled to death.
And yes, this is a DLC quest. You guys specifically requested me to... God dang it. You guys specifically requested me to go ahead and download this DLC while we were streaming this last time. Yeah, this is a messed up situation. Now, yeah. And I agree, no excuse for basically killing civilians. I mean, there's just various levels of messed up there, you know?
Just wonderful. Blood. Mixed with something. That smell. Alcohol severed above the elbow. Earthball with one blow. Wolfsbane. A potion. Pitchfork. Dangerous weapon at close quarters.
Yeah, you'd know, Geralt.
Imperial mustache. Plump cheeks. Important man. Cause of death. Stab wound. Blade between the ribs, straight to the heart. Holding something. Silver chain, snapped. Ripped it off someone.
Shit. Stop.
A doll. And a child's footprints. Uh-huh. Gotcha. Don't worry. I'm not going to hurt you.
Can I just...
Calm down. Just want to talk to you.
Can I interrupt really quick here? One of the things I've always noticed, which is just strange and yet makes perfect sense at the same time, is that Geralt is almost universally good with kids. Have you noticed that? It's just something to comment on. I think it probably comes to do with, you know, his age and his experience, but...
Leave me be! Killer! Murderer!
I got it wrong. I'm...
You've cat eyes! Same as him!
That's 'cause I'm a witcher. I kill monsters.
Said the same, That'un! And you see what he done?
Did he have 2 swords on his back?
Not telling you nothing! Go away!
Huh. This doll yours, maybe?
It is?
He got a name?
Master Freckleface.
Pretty.
Give him to me. Please.
Doubt Master Freckleface would be much help on the path, so... Here. Now, think you could tell me what happened here? I need to know.
All woods. They was haunted. Some spook. Uncle Silvermere said we best fetch a witcher. So one came. Looks like you, but there were evil in his eyes. He bought the spook's headset. Uncle Silvermere weren't happy about something. They yelled and they cursed. And then he went to the barn and
Shh, shh. Think I know the rest.
He let me go. I don't know why. And then he went that way, towards the circle where we leave gifts for the gods. I hid in the barn. Found this lying in the hay.
School of the Cat. Thanks. You've been a big help. What'll you do? Got any family around here?
Me auntie lives in Honorton.
I'll take you to her. But first I gotta see to this bad man. Stay put and keep quiet. Understood? Sit tight, kid.
And yeah, I agree. Her voice acting is not phenomenal.
The circle. That'd be the place to start.
Which is especially bad in a game which generally has excellent voice acting.
The stone circle. Need to look around. Footprints. Barely visible. Must be him.
Yeah, there's a reason I already went ahead and gave the negative to the audio balance. That's never getting better. That's just an issue. I don't know what you're talking about, Juju's.
Blood. Still fresh. He's close.
Did you just show up, Juju's? Because I got something to show you once we're done with this quest.
A fellow witcher. Well, well, small world.
One of the things I find interesting about this game, Witcher 3 in particular, is that it gives us multiple insights into people who are not Geralt. Now, I know what you're saying. Duh, Laura. What I mean by that is multiple Witchers that are not Geralt. We see several other insights into exactly what different Witchers are like throughout the world. Because Geralt, if you think about it, kind of sits in the middle of the spectrum, really. It actually probably more like a triangle spectrum, but you get my point. Because we've got Letho, we've got Vesemir, we've got this guy, we've got the guy whose name I can never think of, but we encountered him later, and I feel like there's another one. Either way, we encounter several Witchers, and each of them shows a different insight into what it's like to be a Witcher. I don't think Ciri really counts. And yeah, the ex-Witcher guy, I forgot about him.
You lost something.
Come all that way to give me my medallion? Thanks. Craft Solidarity's alive and well.
But our craft's reputation is on its last legs. Folk won't easily forget that massacre.
Occupational hazard. Could have happened to any one of us. Well, what are you still doing here?
You need to die. I am using all the hacks, yes. And we're still pretty early on. We haven't done Keira or the Bloody Baron yet. Now, I've already asked you your question. Let's go ahead and give the summary of it in the off chance you don't know what I'm talking about here. He was hired to deal with something. They basically didn't offer to pay him properly. So he got angry, it turned into a fight, and he ended up effectively going berserker. Like just losing it, going into a rage. And the only thing that really snapped him out of it was seeing the little girl. Because even a raging Witcher is going to be like not wanting to kill a helpless child, right? However, it is worth noting there are two sides of this that is important here. Point one, they tried to ambush him, which obviously didn't work out very well. And point two, he killed civilians in addition to trying to go after the actual men of the village. And I'm pointing out both of those points because that, I think, really helps to put this situation into highlight. In other words, neither of these people are good, is the summary of what I'm trying to say. Once again, we see a situation of gray versus gray. What he did was wrong. Period. What they did was wrong. Period. You follow me? That's why I look at this situation like, Because, basically, in this kind of situation, someone like Geralt would have killed the ones trying to kill him, and then he would have left, because the end, right? But this guy, he just kept going. And that leads to the problem here. Basically, if, in my honest opinion, if he had just killed the men who assaulted him, there's no dilemma here. They're horrible. They tried to cheat him. He defended himself against a literal murder attempt. He leaves a little injured. The end. And now we go deal with the kid who's been an orphan. Okay, sure, whatever. But like I said, he kept going. Whoop. One last thing. I want to address something someone said in chat. I forget who said it. Please forgive me. But it is something very worth noting. This goes back to what I was talking about with regards to the concept of the Mario. As I said, there are two things, one or the other, that need to exist for you to be the Mario. The setting needs to accept it. You know, the setting needs to be a setting where you can be the Mario, or you need to have the power, the backing, the wealth, the prestige, the ability, whatever it takes. Whatever form power takes, you need to be at the top tier to be the Mario, right? Well, this is relevant here because this guy, and he'll talk about this in just a second, is not top tier. He's nowhere. He's nobody. And as has been mentioned several times, most Witchers get contracts that basically make ends meet. Geralt is working for the Emperor of Nilfgaard. In fact, he is so well off, he has the option of turning down payment from the Emperor of Nilfgaard. Right? Said Emperor hasn't paid, but it gets across my point. I'm just saying that to get across the idea that Geralt, amongst Witchers, is higher tier. Especially when it comes to backing, connections, finances, etc. He would not want for money if he chose to. And based on how Blood and Wine end, he doesn't want for money. Like, I can't be the only one who presumes that the way that this ends after the finale, the epilogue thing in Blood and Wine, that he just retires happily on a vineyard that he owns for the rest of his life with whoever you happen to choose to be there with him. Most Witchers don't even get that chance. But of course, Geralt has that, and I think he deserves it, don't mistake me. It's just, I feel that's relevant to keep in mind. Especially given the mindset here. Don't mistake me, I'm not trying to whitewash Mr. Cat here. However, I do think that does need to be kept in mind. So, anywho.
I want to chat first, then we'll see.
Take your seat.
I'll stand. Now talk. Honorton, what happened?
Come on. You know what happened. Know what they wanted to pay me for the lesson? Go on, guess.
50.
Ha ha, if only. 12. Understand, pal? 12 fucking crowns. Barely covers my potion ingredients.
What had you agreed to?
That several times over. But when it came time to pay up, you know the routine. Oh, good sir, me young'uns are starving. There's a war on. Gods have mercy. Show some pity.
Rings a bell, but that's no reason to kill.
I'm not finished. Told them I wouldn't show pity. That if I didn't see gold, they'd wish they had the lesson back. They got these grim looks. Then the alderman spoke. Calm now, Master Witcher. Me and the lads, we hid some gold in the barn, so's the Baron's men wouldn't take it. Come, you'll get your coin right quick. fell for it, like a fool. One of them chattered on while another jabbed me in the back with a pitchfork.
Yeah. Now, this is another reason why this is definitely a bad versus bad kind of situation. And I went out of my way to show this on camera. You remember when we went to the town and we saw the house or office or whatever, the local alderman, which was pretty well off. As in, they were decently, like, it wasn't a pauper's house. It wasn't a shack or a hut or whatever. It was nice, you know, books and bookshelves and trappings and all that. And Geralt even made a comment. Someone was doing well, right? So, straight up lying and then attempting to murder him when he asks for more than 12 crowns. Yeah, not nice people. Also, I know that this is probably gameplay and story segregation, but you remember that woman just a bit ago who asked us to find her son, the soldier? She gave us 50 crowns.
So you decided to massacre the whole village?
What would you have done? Gone to the local magistrate to file a complaint? I admit, I lost my temper. Lost it bad. I'm used to shit bounties, to the cheating, to them begging me for help, and then spitting as I pass. But murder me? Just to save a few crowns? I'm supposed to protect Horsens like that? So I drew steel, and didn't sheathe it till the ground was slick with blood.
So this is important.
The girl. Why'd you spare her?
'Cause... it doesn't matter.
Wouldn't have asked if it didn't talk.
Reminded me of my sister. How I remember her from just before they took me away to the School of the Cat.
How is she now?
Died about 10 years ago. Of old age. Well, we've had our little heart-to-heart. Witcher to Witcher. What now?
So, I wanted to point that out too, because this is another reason why he's not a good person. The only reason he didn't kill her was because she reminded him of his sister, not because she was a child, who was a helpless, screaming little girl, who was a civilian in a situation where she was clearly an innocent on top of everything else. No, just the fact that she reminded him of his sister. So I'm kind of with Alex. This guy does need to die. I'd rather it just be kind of a sort of a deal. Actually, I suppose that would be this hand. But this is basically unacceptable. Sorry.
A lot of innocents died in that village.
Yeah, they did. My fucking bad. Got carried away.
Not the first time either, right?
Want to kill me, Wolf? Fine. Draw your blade. Don't force me to confess.
Basically, so obviously what he did was wrong. Problem one. What he did was multiple times beyond the line. Problem two. He was willing to kill a little girl, which I feel like that needs to be mentioned separately, because that's really, really horrible. That's like an additional horrible... Oh, damn it, Black Vial. There we go. That's an additional horribleness on top of everything else. I've said this before and I've said it again. Killing someone person to person is something that most people psychologically cannot deal with. The more distant you are to killing, the easier it is to do. But that works in reverse, too. If you are not only willing to kill in person, but willing to kill an innocent civilian who is a child, who has no idea what's going on and is just scared, that is various levels of wrong, as I'm trying to visually demonstrate here. So, simply allowing this person to continue existing would itself be incorrect. There's also the political ramifications of the fact that someone called for a Witcher and then a village died, which is not good for anyone. Not only, and never mind bad for business, that's bad for starting up a Witcher hunt, if you follow me. So, Yeah.
Stand and fight.
Wow. So that chat. What the hell was the point?
I give folk a chance to defend themselves. Unlike you.
Awful chivalrous. A regular defender of the downtrodden. So mind if I have a dose of swallow? Come on, I'm injured. Believe in the odds a bit.
I'm gonna let him. Oh yeah, one final note. Sorry, I should actually mention this here. He's not repentant. At all. This reminds me of the woman who basically got her sister killed during the werewolf quest. He doesn't care. Yeah, I killed a village, whoop-de-doo, is basically his reaction. And once again, we go back to the voice acting to kind of infer some of the nature of his reality here, because the words could have been legitimate and heartfelt and sincere, and they're not. Hi, Final Cloud. So I'm going to let him.
Fine. Drink.
Much appreciated. Behold, a witcher with honor. And no brains!
And you're dead. Oh, hang on. Take two. There we go.
The soil lie light upon you. Should get back to the kid before something else sniffs her out.
He has some stuff which I'm not going to loot. And that's the final thing against him. But, whatever. Oh yeah, G-Juice, you still there? Hey, Drakrillion, and hello, Chatterbox. What the? Hello?
Get him!
So anyways. G-Juice is gone. Oh well, I'll wait till he's back. I'm pretty sure this one is Chatter, but again, I don't know. I can't say that because I haven't actually rated Inquisition in this format.
You're back! I thought you'd not return. That he'd hurt you too.
He tried.
I'm fine. And he won't hurt anyone ever again.
So you'll take me to my auntie's? It's awful here.
Yes, I will.
Sure thing. Let's go.
A what, Pueblo? Pueblo, excuse me.
I could ride on your shoulders.
So long as you promise not to pull my hair.
I promise.
Then hop on up.
Okay, that's pretty cute. I'll give you that. I don't believe anything happens in Oceans. I'm also glad that... Hang on, another aspect of good game design here. They don't actually force you to do the escort quest, because that would suck.
Millie, what are you doing here, you naughty girl?
Cause back in the village, there's no...
I'll explain. You run along and play a bit, all right?
Me too, Permeus. Explain.
There was a massacre in Honorton. No survivors. Well, except her.
Gods, what happened? A bandit attack?
So, remember I mentioned that political situation earlier? Well, we don't want word getting out that a Witcher did this, so...
You could say that. You'll look after her?
Truth be told, you'd do better to take her with you.
Funny. Used to be folk were afraid we'd take their kids.
Used to be folk weren't so in need. Got 4 of me own grandkids. Used to be 6, but we buried 2 last winter. Hard to live off naught but bark soup.
Well, have some money.
Take this. Use it for food, and only food. If I come back and see you drinking.
So much. The gods reward ye, Master Witcher, 1,000 blessings.
Time I was on my way.
No? But why?
Witcher's lot in life. Always on the road, on the path.
Will you come back and see me sometime?
Hope so. Take care, kid.
Millie! Come, child. We'll buy a bit of flour. Your aunt'll whip up some pancakes. Sound good to ye?
Yeah, exactly, low-res gamer. I mean, there was a bandit attack there, so it was approaching the truth. Under certain definitions of the word. Ah, I didn't actually miss that, Huthor. That's one of those times where I answered in my head. Sorry. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if, while he doesn't have a literal, went to a... I don't think he actually went to a school or anything for it. It wouldn't surprise me that simple experience has taught him that. I mean, some people do learn that way. No! No! Well, shoot. Damn it, Tazara. We've talked about this. And Jiju still isn't here. Damn it, Jiju's. Ah, whatever. Thank you, Tazara. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very, very much, as always. Much appreciated. You know the question I'm going to ask you. Unless you want me to get the spoon out. I don't believe so, Leo Tamer. I could be wrong. And yeah, Witcher training is kind of the same as Jedi training. Very young child.
Yeah, sure stinks like a mass grave. Now for the holy oils. Hope they burn well.
Oh my god, Permeus. With the way I have that set up, that would be horrible.
Now for a shot of Igni.
Ah, whatever. I was saving this until Jiju showed up, but let's go ahead and just kind of do this.
Them both forth.
It's kind of fun, actually, because you got to kind of keep up with it, otherwise you get stuck on stuff. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Shit, one's still alive.
I mean, that is $250, Permeus. It's not a small donation.
What are you playing at? My best. If it ain't that fucking priest, it's corpse eaters. I'm done with this damn town.
Language.
A priest?
We'd agreed to meet as usual, just a larger delivery. Good customer, I thought. Then they whipped out blades.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I was thinking in the wrong direction, Shadow Machine. Every now and again, I math in the opposite. So you are right. That'd actually be $2,500, not... Hang on just a second. I don't want to forget that Tazara is awesome. Tazara is awesome. Favorite part of this game? Oh, I don't think I can name just one part. There's too many good parts. If you want me to name my favorite scene, it would be the scene when he finds Ciri on the island.
We still talking about a priest of the eternal fire?
I'd say so. Beat-stained pricks can't be trusted. This one had ordered premium-grade fist tech from me 3 times. Everything perfect. But the fourth, his men came at us with knives, sought to knock us out of trade. Shoved me in that ditch with the corpses. Must have thought the ghouls would take care of the rest.
And to make sure, he hired a witcher to burn the bodies, destroy any evidence.
A witcher? Meaning you? So what now?
Nothing. Didn't pay me to burn the living.
Oh, thank the gods it's true what they say. Though mutants, you live by a code. Oh, thank you, Witcher.
I should kill you just for being a drug dealer, but, you know, whatever. Oh, burn, 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 as they say.
Now for a shot of Igni.
I do love that effect. The crackled magma-looking thing that it does to the ground. I love that effect. It's just a simple mesh, or not mesh. I can't think of the proper term. It's not a texture. It's like a mutator texture. That's a decal. Thank you. It's just a decal that's slapped down on something.
Show me what you got.
Or not. You know, I'm kind of busy. Got some stuff to do. Do. Up. Missed. Oh, that just sounds terrible. Hang on. Hold up.
Get him!
Ham.
Let me out, I beg you. He's around here somewhere. There's gotta be.
Fine. No, Final Cloud. This is how the game's meant to be. Come on, unlock the door. Unlock the door!
Look from his stall by the bridge across the pond tower. Got goods for the army mostly. But I'll make an exception for you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Get out of here. It's actually a lot quicker to just do this. But every now and again I like to be fancy about it. Die, horse! Die! I'm just kidding. We're going to leave it be. Yeah, it's not a cheat. It's a reality enhancer.
Well, Witcher, have you completed your task?
Why do you priests take an interest in the fallen so late?
The Church of the Eternal Fire's first duty is to the living. You've no notion of the work we did just after the battle. The wounded needed tending, refugees, pastoral care. We had sermons to deliver, donations to collect.
Relieved to hear it. What would the people have done without you?
Some people have gotten the incorrect impression that I'm anti-religion. And I want to talk about that briefly, if I may. I'm not actually anti-religion. I'm anti-evil. Please, keep the jokes. I know the jokes you're going to make. But it comes up so often on my show because I'm discussing fiction. And usually, in fiction, religions tend to be horrible. Right? I mean, that's such a common thing. It's gotten to the point where if you have a religious group that's not evil, it's actually unusual. Or, I'll use a direct example. When going through Final Fantasy X, I had to point out how unusual and awesome it was that there are members of the faith of Yevon who were not horrible people. I had to actually go out of my way to point that out because it was so rare to see that kind of a thing. I just felt like prefacing this because I hate these guys and everything about them.
So, took care of the graves. Interesting, actually. One of the corpses proved to be quite, well, alive. And pretty talkative.
What do you mean?
Fist-tech dealer. One of them survived. Had an awfully interesting story to tell.
Intriguing. I would purchase this story from you. For all time. Exclusively.
Really? I mean, I'd rather just kill you.
You can hire me. but you sure as hell can't buy me.
Ah, an impasse. Then it will be cheapest to kill you.
3 on 1. Surely we'll manage, Witcher or not. Take him!
Yes, I used fire on that one deliberately. Hi, Tessie. Actually, that's a pretty easy fight, honestly, even playing this legit. Okay, so that's that. Do I want to do that one now? No, I'm going to go... Where do I want to go next? Let me think about that for a second. Yeah, we can go nuke that one out of the way. Just get rid of it real quick. Boop. I fought fire with fire. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Stay out of my way. Where you think you're going, mucker?
Why do you even care?
You're in the military operations zone, and our job's to collect the war tax.
Look more like you're collecting for a round of vodka to me.
I wonder I do. Will you be that cheeky when we accuse you of spying? Now shut your trap and pay.
Hey, what do you know? Even these guys are thugs. I know, not all of the northern troops are thugs, but it's just interesting to note because that means we're up to, what, 4 separate criminal factions which are all vying over Novigrad right now? I'm including the church in that, by the way.
Not about to give you a copper.
Told you he was a spy. We're gonna arrest you in the name of good King Radovid.
Oh, God.
You can always try.
What's going on here?
Reporting the capture of a suspicious individual, sir. A spy.
A witcher'd make as good a spy as you'd make a chaperone. I catch you extorting coin again, you'll go straight to the front. The Eastern Front. And you, Witcher, best give these parts a wide berth.
Thanks. Farewell.
Now that right there is one of the reasons why I like this game. There's the many reasons I like this game. But you'll notice it did an immediate contrast between someone who was unreasonable and someone who was reasonable. From the same faction, in the same area.
Know what they say about you lot? If you seek justice...
It's a nice touch, and I appreciate nice touches. Yeah, in the same uniform. Same division, same. Just one of them, well, 2 of them, are bleh. And one of them is trying to make the best he can of a bad situation. So, anyways, thank you very much, Killing You. As always, much appreciate. Thank you. Do you know what you want to put that towards? Yeah, let's speed this up a little bit. Yes, the explanation is...
Radovid was late with our pay a whole week.
He's trying to cheat us too. Purse I got.
You post the notice?
I did indeed. Hands of Sidaris, mercenary captain. Know of a monster that needs slaying. You interested?
No, I'm out. I hate slaying monsters and I hate this game. We're going to stop playing right now. And we're going to give... let's see. Let's go and give 1 to gameplay. And let's go ahead and give 2 to story. I think that sounds about right. 1, 2. There we go. That sounds about right. Any questions? Anyone want to disagree? But as always, it is my job to explain why. Gameplay Plus. Now, admittedly, this is with the benefit of some patching at this point. But the game... I wish I could show this properly, but I can't get the free camera mod working. Basically, this game is surprisingly well coded. This is effectively the exact opposite of Witcher 2, to be completely blunt. One of my biggest problems with Witcher 2 is the fact that Witcher 2, its engine kind of sucks. Now, I know, it was their first time with a new engine and blah, 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 blah. But the fact of the matter is, Witcher 2's engine kind of sucks, and it was extremely buggy, horribly resource-intensive, and just had many, many issues with it. 1 second, I need to write this down for killing you before I forget. Empire at War. There we go. So noted, killing you. Witcher 3, by contrast, is a much better coded engine. And I could explain that very simply by running around the overworld at Mach 10, and the game is fine. No bugs, no issues with rendering, nothing else with that whatsoever. It is a game that, basically, because of the nature of how they actually do their layered... there's a term for this. Their centric loading. It's something that the Just Cause series does as well. It basically gets rid of load screens, and what it does is it loads stuff in a circle around you, and then it loads stuff in a slightly less quality, less meshes, less polygons, lower resolution textures, you know, further out, and then further out, and further out. Each concentric ring that goes out is being rendered poorer, but it's still being rendered. And thus, all it has to do is dynamically decide what is in the centermost ring, the one which is being rendered at full quality. And that just moves around. I mentioned Just Cause in this specifically because this could be arguably a bad thing. But if you're going fast enough in Just Cause 2 or 3, you can literally, if you're watching a mountain, you can see it kind of go from a vague kind of geometric shape, and as you get closer, it kind of morphs into a far more detailed mesh, right? Yeah, I forget what I called it too. But anyways, point being, it's well-coded, it's well-designed, it makes the game very smooth, and it adds immensely to my enjoyment of the game. I already pointed this out right at the beginning of the game when we were at Kaer Morhen, and you're just looking out and you can see to the end of the mountain. That's awesome. 2 story pluses. Story plus number 1 is for graphics. Just straight-up graphics. The overall presentation of graphics in this game is awesome, and it does an excellent job of making me feel like I'm in a given place. Speaking as someone who has zoomed around this game with free camera before, I can also tell you that even though there's only really the 4 or so different biomes, each biome is noticeably different in its presentation and style. I suppose we can actually argue there's 5, now that I think about it. Sorry, so there's 5 biomes, my bad. Each one is distinct, each one's well presented, each one adds tremendously to the atmosphere of where it is. The additional story plus, now this one's a bit tricky, but I've decided after some thought that the additional story plus is for the method by which they try to present characters. Basically, every single character that we interact with, while they do follow a bit of a patterning, especially when it comes to the faces, as we've already pointed out, a lot of obvious effort is put into varying them in terms of either voice acting or in terms of, you know, mustache, or they've got glasses on, or a hat or whatever, or different armor, to try and disguise that, to make it feel like each one's different. And of course, the voice acting varies from each one too. So that's the 2 story pluses. So we're going to put that story plus here for... And we're going to put the other story plus... we'll just put it up here, I think. Hey, Reki. It has been a while. What's up? I have no idea, Puzzle Fury. Congrats, Reki. It's a good job, right? I mean, I'm prepared to stab people with a toothbrush if it's not a good job. And no, I'm not stopping the stream right now. Or for another... about 2 hours. See you around, SJ. Have a good one. What does LOD stand for again? I'll just scroll up. Hang on a second. Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Level of detail. Yeah, I gotta be honest. Yeah, LOD stood for Lord of Destruction in my mind because I've played Diablo too many times. So, if I'm not mistaken, I am not mistaken. Moving on.
See if there's any
What kind of monster are we talking about?
If only I knew. It was like this. Got Radovid to hire me and my company, but he's been late with the pay the last weeks. And I'll be damned if we're to risk our lives for free, like hell.
Couldn't agree more. But you were gonna tell me about the monster.
Yes, yes. We arrived here, encamped. Then it turned out some beast prowls the area. Snatchers cows and the like. Reckoned we should help the local boys, so we grabbed our weapons and set out. Me and Kurt one way, Gerd and Henk the other. Gerd and Henk never returned. Whatever it was, it got him. Jobs for a professional, clearly. So Kurt and me, we chipped in for a small reward, hoping someone's willing to help the locals avenge our comrades in the process.
Awfully noble of you.
Ah, mercenaries, we've our honor too. Well, Master Witcher, what will it be? Will you take the job?
Of course I will, but first I want to say grats again, Reki. Seriously. I know what it's like to be unemployed. It sucks. So grats.
All right. Where do I start looking?
South of here. It's where we split up. It's where we last saw Gerd and Henk alive.
Well, okay. But first I have to kill Kemek. Death to Kemek. Oh, we're here.
Human.
Elf. Sorry.
Claw marks, bite marks, armor ripped to shreds. No sign of another corpse. Flying monster. Gripped the second body in its claws. Didn't quite get everything to its nest.
I can't think of the name of that, Reki, but every time I go to the theaters nowadays, the movie theaters, they have these interactable ad things you can play on your phone during the thing. And I can't remember what they're called, but I'm curious if you work for them, because that would be hysterical.
Piece by piece, follow the thread.
Those people even tweeted me when I tweeted out about it. Like, by what amounts to total coincidence, I happen to be one of the very first people to view it, because I happened to be going to the theater, like, the week they were rolling those things out. Movement in the forest. Got it. Kill movement in the forest. Kill everything. Terminator mode engaged.
Tracks end here. Damn birds must have picked the ground clean. But they've already found the rest of the corpse, probably. All I gotta do is follow the cawing. Thin rakides, sparse afterfeathers, an arch griffin.
Oh, Toussaint would be my favorite, easily. Oh, hey, Roach. Where'd you come from? God, Roach, you're so slow. Let me show you how it's done.
proud of you.
Well, any progress?
Monster's dead. I slew it. It was a griffin. An arch-griffin, in fact.
In that case, I'm grateful. Arch-grateful. Your reward.
Thank you. And in the future, try summoning a witcher before any blood's spilt.
Well, I play basically everything. Wachiganato. Which I'm probably pronouncing incredibly wrong, and I apologize for that. But yeah, I consider myself a variety show. Because I played just about everything. I don't really restrict myself. Yes, currently I'm playing The Flash, for example. Alright, so we got that card, which can work there. Wachuganato? No, I'm not going to try anymore. That should wait. I didn't mean to trigger that quest. That doesn't matter. That... we could go do that really quick. I want to save that one, too. I guess we... hang on. So where's... racing games. Ah, no, I like racing games. Yeah, I figured that's in Novigrad. Alright. So we'll go ahead and do what I've been thinking about doing for a while now. Now that we're as caught up as I basically want to be. I want to go see Keira. Oh, what you got? Yeah, see, I wouldn't have caught that. I'm terrible, like I said. I can't do pronunciations. After both A's. Which Flash? Wally. Let's see. What do we got here? I'm looking for some glass. Anyone here sell some glass? I'm sorry, Reki. Here, let me retry. Is that better, Reki? I don't even know how to fake laugh. I'll just pretend I'm Titus for a minute.
Looking for a man. Goes by Hendrik.
What do you want with him?
Want to talk to him.
What about?
Give me a bottle of something strong.
And yes, the beard's starting to come in.
You gotta go. I'll open the back way for you.
Got company. Who is it?
Innkeep, vodka.
The Baron's men.
Brave warrior, looks like. Got 2 swords, see?
Oi, great boy. What's the point of having 2 swords?
Wonder if he keeps an extra prick in his trousers too.
You fucking deaf? Gonna say who you are? Or do I need to loosen your tongue with me knife?
So, this is really interesting, the way they approach this, narratively speaking. Everything we hear about the Bloody Baron and his men is awful. They are bandits, just degenerates, horrible human beings who pillage and take and control, and do so at the behest of their overlords, so they're legally allowed to do so. I point that out because it's funny to me that from a narrative perspective, they decide to start on that foot. To start with you thinking of how horrible these people are. And then, after you start working with the Baron and his men, that's when they start to try and gray them out a little bit. Now, they don't actually gray them out that much. Again, none of these are good people, and they are definitely a net negative on the surroundings, and they need to be... But I do think it's interesting they approach it that way. It's kind of the opposite of what they do with the Nilfgaardians, for example. I'll be nice for now.
How about I buy everybody around?
Why would you?
Got the coin for it. Simple as that.
I don't drink with strangers.
We share a round, won't be strangers anymore. Then we go our separate ways.
And which way might yours be?
On my way to Novigrad.
City of whores and whoremongers.
your health. And mine.
Bottoms up!
I know what you're thinking. Lore, why spare these people? To spare him. I could just murder these people. Just they're dead. Even if I wasn't cheating, this would be an easy fight. No. The reason to spare them is so that he doesn't get in any trouble in his inn.
If you want a rest, come with me. I've a bench you can use.
I step in the hut, and there's the bumpkin with what looks like his son. That's on the pretty side, I think to myself.
I say probably disguised his daughter.
Thanks for not starting a row with those swine.
I don't generally poke my nose in other people's business.
Looking to stay the night?
No. I'm looking for Hendrik.
Man lives in Heatherton.
Don't know where that is.
Other side of the hill. Looked that away this morning, saw a strange glow. Imperials on the raid, perhaps. But who knows?
Anything else you can tell me about Hendrik?
Odd fellow. Arrived from who knows where and for no apparent reason. Shacked up with a widow whose husband was stabbed for a scrap of bread.
Baron's men don't like strangers.
Aye, he stays out of their way. Always seems to know when they're coming. Always manages to disappear.
Thanks, Innkeep.
Dijkstra is also a fascinating character. I will give credence to the writers of this game. There's a lot of characters that are horrible people that are really engaging and enjoyable. It's just bizarre. Dijkstra and the Bloody Baron being probably the two of the most obvious ones I can think of off the top of my head. Radovid himself is arguably an example. Emir is another example. And of course, Gaunter Odim, aka me. I mean, not me. It's not me. So now we can do this step that we accidentally started earlier.
Be gone! Leave me be, whoever you is! Get away!
I love that. Just walks up.
Calm down. It's over.
That's true, Larian. It's one of the reasons many people have said for many years that the most interesting characters in a lot of fiction tend to be the villains, not the heroes.
Aye, it's over. All's past, never to be restored. I'll not forget that ever.
Looking for a man named Hendrik, supposed to live in this village.
Aye, he did. No longer. They nabbed him in that hut. If you'd have heard the cries, sir. If you'd have heard how a man can scream, how he can suffer.
Tell me what happened here, step by step.
They took him. Took him all. The sun was waning, see? And the dusk went crimson like blood. Thought to myself, strange. The toads. I cannot hear them.
It's an interesting point to discuss, Tessie. I just don't think now's the time. I don't mind discussing it with you, though, if you want to stick around for a few minutes. Oh god, the elves are coming! The elves are coming! Now, if memory serves, the cold is a byproduct of the Great Frost moving between dimensions, right?
I know not what happened there, save terror through and through. Hendrik screamed. Then he begged. By the end, he could do naught but moan.
elves, am I right? No, I did the cutscene, Reki. I prefer to do the cutscene.
Shit.
Weren't here long, the terrors. Yet the village froze like in the heart of winter.
You in that hut when they rode off?
No, and I'll not set foot there. Never.
Farewell, and peace of mind to you.
Oh, God, my head. Yeah, there we go. Real quick. I just want to address what Tessie mentioned, even though Tessie probably left already. From a narrative and from a constructive perspective, statistically speaking, most stories have actors and reactors, basically. Usually the actors are the villains and the reactors are the good guys. Because, from typical narrative parlance, there's no real reason for a good guy to go out and do on their own. They do in response to bad. This then leaves most of the agency of most narratives in the hands of the villains. Thus, as a natural byproduct, because more thought has to be put into the villains, usually, asterisk, more effort is put into fleshing out said villains. Now, obviously that's not always true. How many times have I complained on this very show about a villain who's evil? And that's it. That's their motivation. Why are you doing this? Because I'm evil. But this is one of the reasons why I say that it is usually villains which are more interesting. Because most writers tend to lean in the direction of putting the extra effort in the part that they had to put the extra effort into. If you follow me. So he's mega dead. Oh, and I agree with, I think Huthor said it? Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Yes, Huthor said it. I've said it before and I've said it again. The Wild Hunt are, well, I don't want to call the Wild Hunt pathetic, but they're not a world-ending threat. That's my opinion, of course, and I've had plenty of people disagree with me that over the years. But I do also think that the Wild Hunts, the only reason they are as capable as they are is because they have their two major advantages. The advantage of teleportation, which is a big advantage, and of course the advantage of anonymity. See, even then, I don't know, Larian, but I don't want to get into that just yet.
Tortured him. Maybe they missed something. Need to check his pockets. Trousers are stiff, as if hung out to dry midwinter.
Well, shoutouts to Italy, and thank you, Wolfrix, very much. Much appreciate. I always like it when a lurker pokes their head in. You can go back to lurking, it's okay. You can also stay and chat with us if you'd like to. You're more than welcome.
Maybe hid something in his jerkin.
Oh yeah, I agree. The White Frost is the real threat here. The White Frost is a global threat. This is my opinion. In my opinion, the White Frost is a global threat. The Wild Hunt is a national threat. In other words, it is obviously a threat if all of the sudden, out of nowhere, another conquering army just kind of pops up out of nowhere, right? Like, that is an issue. But it's not, oh my god, the Reapers are here! It's just, oh god, now the Huns are attacking, that kind of a thing. And of course, and this is the one thing I do like about Witcher 3, both are a personal threat, because both care about Ciri, and Geralt cares about Ciri.
Should check his boots. Blood. Congealed. Key hidden in his boot. Gotta fit a keyhole. Somewhere nearby, hopefully.
Oh, I agree, Skystrax. Yeah, the White Frost is probably at the level of at least galactic threat.
There's a draft. Gotta be a space under this rubble. Guess I should do some cleaning.
I don't know, Alpha Host. I don't want to say that. I don't think I could gauge that properly. Come on. There we go. There we go. Hello? There we go. Missing Tamara Stringer. I'm sure that's not relevant.
Interesting.
That is my impression, yes, Keira White Noise. Because, assuming the Wild Hunt is intelligent, which, I mean, they might not be, it would be their best bet to try and continue to maintain the mystique around their forces.
Payment for a sack of grain. Amount due for a charcoal shipment. Hendrik was masquerading as a merchant. What's this? Notes among the ledger entries. Clever. Interesting headings.
So, put simply, if I could just finish giving my opinion here really quick, I think that the armies of the Al'Un, or how the hell you pronounce their stupid name, would be a threat mostly because there would be no, to use a direct parallel, shepherd to unite the other forces against them. Yeah, the On-Doom. Didn't I say that, Uthor? Anyways, the Doom-Dumb would be a serious threat because, well, the same reason the Reapers are a serious threat over in Mass Effect. It's not that the Reapers are invincible. It's not that they are overwhelmingly powerful. It's that they are a unified force and nothing else is. So, like I said, we're in the middle of a major war here. No, I said the dumb Huthor. God, he just... Anyways. And to my knowledge, Mr. Goodcat, if Mr. Goodcat was in the Witcher setting, I think they'd be able to actually resist the forces of the Doom-Dumb. But because the Dumb-Doom are over there, you know, because there is nothing to really unify them, they'd be hitting several disparate nations who are mostly disagreeing and disliking each other, right? I mean, imagine if they literally attacked the North now. You get my point? And it's worth noting that we don't play someone like that. We play Geralt. Geralt is not Shepherd. That is like the exact opposite of what Shepherd is, really. Geralt's a bit of a mover, but he's an individual mover. He's not a unifier. Anyways, thank you very much, Mr. Goodcat. Much appreciated as always, thank you. Do you know what you want to put that towards for a future stream? Yeah, Geralt's not a unifier. He's not a leader. He is not a... I don't know what else to call it. Rimworld, you got it. Give me a moment to jot that down. Cat. I'm spelling that right. Yeah, exactly, VA Ghost. Funnily enough, I think Geralt would work as an excellent agent / party member of someone like Shepherd, but is not Shepherd him or herself. Yeah, Escalpa. I like that. I like that definition. Which brings me to an interesting question. Do you think anyone within the Witcherverse would be capable of unifying against, you know, the Wild Hunt had they actually gotten Ciri and opened the portals and invaded? I can only think of one character who might qualify. I guess Dijkstra might. So if I was to expand it, I would probably... I was thinking of Emir, was the character I was thinking of. No, not me. I don't want this world. God, that's just a mess. I'd be like 30 years out of my infinite lifespan just to fix this place? Ugh, no thank you. Why do you think I run around just making deals with people? For Hearts of Stone. Anyways. So, yeah, no. I would put it into the direction of Emir. I think that Emir would actually be capable of, at least in the face of the onslaught, temporarily putting together some kind of military alliance against them. Even that has like 15 maybes layered on top of it. Which is really my point. That, given the circumstances, even someone like Emir, or Dijkstra, or Ciri, would still probably not succeed at this task.
Missing and wanted. Subject appeared in Skellige, also sighted in Novigrad. Appearance unchanged. Ashen hair, scar on her face. Avoids contact with others. Drunken swine. So-called Baron hosted subject at his castle. Or should I say, illegally appropriated fort. Reason unknown. Talked to Baron at Crow's Perch. Clashed with a witch. Subject landed in swamp. Encountered a witch. Conflict ensued. Cause unknown. Find the witch. Talk to the peasantry. Village of Midcopse. Caution advised. I'm being observed. Don't know by whom or why. Unsettling signs. Dog ran off. Water in bucket froze solid. Strange glow observed in the sky. Ill omen, peasants say. Somehow they learned Hendrik was looking for Ciri. Thus the torture. I'm too late. My only leads, the Baron and some witch. Damn.
To the witch! Which one is that son? I will also say that I think if someone was more politically connected at the height of the Lodge's power, they might be able to unify a force. Unfortunately, the Lodge is kind of at the opposite of the height of its power right now. Thanks, Philippa. I'm not sure if someone like Triss could manage it, or Yennefer. And that's why I just kind of hesitate there. Of the sorceresses I know, I don't think any of them could really fulfill that slot that I was describing. Don't let him catch his breath! Don't worry. I got this. And we're here. Yeah, I know I could have fast traveled, but it's just so much fun doing that. It'll probably get old at some point. Yeah, the Lodge... In my opinion, the Lodge was very logical and made a lot of sense, and then became what most political parties are. I'm not trying to... Of course, Permeus. I'm not trying to get into a real-life discussion here historically. What I mean by that... Thank you, low-res gamer. I am paying attention while doing it. It's kind of fun to do. What I mean by that is that the Lodge stopped trying to function as a political force and started trying to operate as a political party. More concerned with their own internal affairs and things that they cared about and becoming corrupt and influencing and manipulating others rather than actually functioning as a unified political force. I know that the distinction between those two is minute, but the relevant point is the fact that a political party will inevitably only ever engender its own interests. It is basically a status quo situation, right? The rich want to stay rich, to put it into simplistic terms. A political force will actually try to do things. What does this tree want? Oh! What's the code, Permeus? I'll go ahead and hit it real quick, just for you. Because I'm invincible right now, so I can just, you know... So, a lodge, at the height of its power, with correct and intelligent people in charge, might be capable of unifying the people against the oncoming onslaught of the Wild Hunt. But the lodge is not unified, and there is no individual within it who could do it to begin with. I don't actually know the answer to that question, Alex. I know they know a little bit more, but I also know that during the course of this game, as we learn more details about the Wild Hunt, Geralt and Yennefer learn more details. Remember, they don't even know why they're after Ciri at this point in time. We know why. It's because Ciri is the one who has the Elder Blood and can open up the massive portal to let them, you know, en masse exodus. But they don't know that yet. And that's true, Keira White Noise. The fact that they, basically simply by being there, by simply having a navigator, the Wild Hunt has the ability to just kind of freeze a local area. You know, that's a weapon in its own right. What am I doing? You, talk to me.
Try to win them all, but you won't.
Oh, I will.
Rich myself. I've my elf, thank the gods. And for the rest, well, she can't bake bread from stone either.
Oh, come on, this new one's not half bad. Sharp tongue on her, but she helps when there's a need.
She can't fill our guts with spells. Besides, she got no warts. She's not cross-eyed.
And what's a witch with no grey on her head? Not much likely to be inside it.
For one who never sees her, you seem to know a heap about her.
See you around, Sonoshi.
Don't care much myself, but when folk talk, I listen.
Ma'am, you're sweeping dirt. I just want you to be fully cognizant of the fact that you are sweeping a dirt trail on dirt. In dirt. Dirt. It's just dirt. It's all dirt.
Should send him back to the witch. Might cure him of laziness.
Greetings, ma'am.
Good day to you, sir. Need something?
Got a matter for your village witch. Know where I can find her?
I don't bother with her myself. But ask my man. He'll know.
No.
Hurt his back so bad last week he could hardly move. So I sent him to the witch. Came back sprightly as a foal.
Where is he?
In the yard, no doubt. Pain's gone, but sleuth's set in now. Should be hunting foxberries to feed our young uns. Marion's lad. Now that man, he knows how to provide for his family. Caught some water rats last. They had food for days.
All the dirt must be gone. All the dirt must be gone. Also, hi, Eric. So Eric is one of those philosophy students I was referencing earlier.
Good day. Heard you know where to find the local witch.
Kidding.
Who told you that?
Your wife.
Daft wench. Leave me be and don't listen to that nattering sow. We've not had a witch, shaman, nor cunning wench in ages.
Right. Well, you're not worth my money, so...
You sure? Give it a think.
Won't take no for an answer, will ye? Ooh, alright. Know the small pond near the village? Path leads off from it. Follow that till you come across a lone rock. Walk around that into the woods, find the old cart, you're there.
Thanks.
It's just... don't harm her, sir. Word of your kind's reached these parts.
My kind, meaning?
Well, the witch-burning kind.
Witch hunters. Also known as evil people. Good night, Puzzle Fury.
Witch hunters have been here already?
Nay, but we've heard tell of them. So, when I spied you coming, swords and all, straight away, I thought tales must be true.
I'm a witcher, not a witch hunter.
Hmm? What? Not one and the same?
No.
I mean, I gotta be honest. They needed a better branding. They needed to cycle around and workshop the term a little bit more. Witcher isn't really all that indicative if you think about it. Especially since witches exist within this setting. I want to mention something very quickly. I've praised the camera direction of cutscenes in this game many times. One of the little tricks they use, it's a very minor trick, but it's a nice little bit of additional, is that every now and again while one character is talking, it'll switch the camera to show other people's reactions. And I like that. It makes it feel a little bit more fleshed out, and of course it gives them a chance to literally show, you know, stance or facial reactions to what's being said, rather than, you know, the old KOTOR thing, where it's just, this is the person that's talking, and now this person is talking, and then this person is also talking.
No need to worry. I'm not out to hurt your witch.
Ooh, a weight off me heart, sir. She only arrived a short while ago, but she's frightfully wise. Even pleasant on the eyes, if you like 'em skinny.
Thanks for your help. Farewell.
Hi, Gary.
To your mug.
Yeah. Ah, there we go. You notice
a large stone near the pond.
You notice he gave us directions too, like actual directions. So even if we had quest markers off or the HUD off, we could figure out where we're going.
There's the boulder. Now right and onto the cart.
Just nice little touch. Hello again, Burn.
The cart.
Do you mind? I'm busy. Whoops, wrong button. Hopefully not, Baron.
Poor girls are hurt and don't give. Miss, the cows are wheezing.
won't rise from the barn floor. Pus streams from her snout.
Do I look like a dairymaid to you?
No, miss, but you know things. 'Tis our last cow. None other left in the village.
Rest died of hunger. Or soldiers let him off. Oh, we're as good as dead without her.
I shall give you herbs. Mix them with water drawn from the spring at midnight, then make the cow drink them.
Okay, I want to pause here really quick. I like Keira as a character. It's one of the reasons why I want her to live. And indeed, we'll be guiding her towards living through these events. And it's cool to have the Kaer Morhen event, which we'll talk about once we get there. But I hate that shirt. It's not the cleavage problem. You know, cleavage is fine, but she has no chest. So she just has a giant gaping hole in her shirt, which just looks ugly. Whoops, hang on. There, I mean, look at that. It's just like someone who was designing her shirt, who was actually sewing it, just screwed up on the pattern. Like, okay, and then pull this. And then someone who tried it out was like, oh, whoops. Ah, whatever, you know.
Out your barn, thoroughly. Is that clear?
Thank you, miss.
Yeah, I don't care for the colors at all.
Enough.
Blue, yellow, and red highlights? Yes, Inosians. No!
We'd best come back on the morrow.
Watch what you say. She's quick to ire, apt to take revenge.
What I'm saying is that her dress is ugly, or her shirt is ugly, more accurately.
Home.
Yeah, I've had buttons, or a proper cut, or something, anything. It's just an ugly shirt, and I hate it. Every time I've played this, it's just like, what in the world?
Managed to amass quite a book collection.
The skirt's okay. That's why I had to correct my statement. The shirt is the problem. The skirt is okay.
Don't often see baubles like this in Velen. Powerful aura. Must be some artifact or... So this is where she disappeared to. Well, well. Nice.
I was wondering how long it would take you, Geralt. I'm upstairs. Don't be shy.
This is a good time to mention something the game never actually mentions. So, I forget if it's Witchers in general or just Geralt in specific, but basically, he's effectively crack to sorceresses. Which kind of helps explain why 4 separate ones in this game alone try to get into his pants.
Greetings, Witcher.
Missed a spot.
Where? Hope you didn't come to Gore.
No. To talk.
Turn around and wait.
Nah, she's definitely not being flirty. One of the things I've actually liked about sorceresses is the fact that their clothing is magic. It's just kind of a cool little thing.
Keira Metz, deep in the heart of Velen. Thought you hated the countryside.
I can assure you I do. Now more than ever.
Heard a witch lived out here. Never would have guessed it was King Foltest's former advisor.
I'm so pleased the world's still able to astound you, Geralt. I actually envy you that sense of wonder. Common in children, knights errant, and morons.
Someone's grown irritable. Is that any way to greet an old friend?
I believe I greeted you with a pleasant view. Now tell me what brings you here.
I actually don't know, Keira. I mentioned it because we see Yennefer do the same thing, and I'm pretty sure Triss did the same thing too. So that's 3 of them. Ow! That just kind of, their clothes on and off. And we do know that they have the ability to, in addition to extending their life, basically restructure their bodies as long as they maintain some kind of magic on it.
So, Bet you saw this question coming. What are you doing here?
Let me think. Enjoying the country air? Admiring the unspoilt scenery? Or is it furthering the age-old alliance between the city and its breadbasket? No. I'm in hiding, Geralt. Blind to the state of the world? Don't you see what's happening?
Mean the persecution mages now face?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Radovid's new pastime. Pursuing anyone with a whiff of magic about them. Witch hunters. Sound familiar? Murderers scouring the north from end to end. Burning books, hanging soothsayers, torturing herbalists.
We've talked extensively about how stupid this move is by Radovid, by the way. I actually plan to bring that up again, probably in a couple days, basically when we get to Novigrad, because, yeah. But let me just say really quick, what Radovid is doing is stupid. That being stated, I do also have to mention that it's understandable why he thinks that way, since he is, I mean, right? You know, Philippa? Ugh.
Picked a strange place to hide.
I didn't pick anything. In the north, Radovid's men hunt sorceresses like fish in a barrel. Nilfgaard controls the south. Where was I to flee?
Emperor does keep mages on a short leash, but he lets them live and ply their trade.
Radovid and Emma differ in every respect except one. They share a deep hatred of the Lodge of Sorceresses. And I was a member.
Now, this is one of the things I find interesting about Keira as a character. She is basically a Krennic. She's a sorceress who is kind of low tier on the when it comes to other sorceresses, but she tends to portray herself as if she's a high tier, or present herself as if she should be high tier. She also is someone who likes to play at politics, but isn't actually all that good at it. She's nowhere near as adept as other people we see in this setting, including Philippa herself. So
how's it feel to be the village witch?
Horrid.
No joy in having the boundless respect and trust of the local peasantry?
They'd respect anyone who could produce hemorrhoid cream.
Been here a while, haven't you?
Long enough for rot to set in. You cannot possibly imagine how much I detest this place.
So, someone in chat, I think it was Puzzle Fury, I can't remember who though, mentioned the idea that Keira, the moment she saw Geralt, probably was planning to use him for this expedition that's about to happen. I agree completely. She lays out her motives right here. She hates this. She's used to being, effectively, a member of the aristocracy, a noblewoman. It's a different type of noblewoman, but it's a noblewoman nonetheless. She's out here in a hut, with a cave, amongst yokels. This is intolerable to her. Now, I mean, I kind of understand and sympathize. Yeah, curing cows, exactly. I kind of understand and sympathize with that. But at the same time, basically, I think Keira needs to be reined in a little bit, which is exactly what I plan to do. Anyways.
Changing the subject.
Oh, and Denrix asks a good question. It makes tactical sense to steal all the stuff of the mage people, right? Catch is, most of the actual mages aren't being successfully hunted. In other words, think of it as if you were trying to steal from the rich, but all of the actually rich people you can't steal from. So you end up stealing from the poor, and you can see why that's suddenly not a really winning factor, right? Most of the people that the witch hunters have been successfully getting are either lower tier, like base alchemists, or someone who is rumored to be a witch, but is basically just someone who knows about a couple of herb things, or like the, I can't remember what they're called, the chameleon guy, the metamorph. And just other people who've been labeled as political enemies for one reason or another. Dopplers, thank you, Dopplers. Like, that's it. It's super low tier, so they're not really getting much out of it, other than the obvious implication of order and trying to make it so that it's more difficult for the actual mages and magesses to operate. Because even someone who is far more skilled and powerful, like Triss, still has to slide through the shadows in order to get stuff done, as we'll see later.
Any news of your sisters from the lodge?
None. We can't know too much about one another these days. It's safer that way.
Even tried to contact one another?
I've wanted to many times. But I've no way of knowing who would answer, or who might be listening.
Oh, and I agree, Viegos. That's a good parallel. Yeah, Triss is also reasonably lower tier. But Triss is also higher tier than Keira. I would... This is just my impression based on the games. But I would say Triss is like lower mid to mid tier when it comes to the sorceresses.
I'm looking for a certain young woman.
Oh, really? Who?
I'm looking for Ciri. That Ciri. And no one can know, understand?
Cirilla is here. The girl once sought by the Lodge of Sorceresses, and practically every ruler on the continent has landed here in Velen, and I know nothing of it. What is she doing here?
Indications are she's hiding from someone. I heard she quarreled with a witch, but if you don't know anything... Sure you haven't seen her?
I'm certain I haven't. But recently someone asked me about an ashen-haired woman. He claimed she would stand out from the peasant crowd.
I do think Triss is the kind of person who could move upwards, in terms of both personal and political power. Just based on her personality and the way she presents herself, I suppose. I don't know, however, if a sorceress's power is innate or trained. I don't know how magic works in this setting at a fundamental under-the-hood level.
Who was it?
Not so fast, Geralt. No humble plea, no offering for the witch.
My undying gratitude. Good enough.
It's nothing to sneeze at, but you've a knack for getting into trouble. I should probably ask for something more immediately deliverable. Oh, sod it, don't give me that look. I know it's Ciri we're talking about. It was an elf, this individual who asked about Cirilla. No flea-bitten Scoia'tael slob either, but an elven mage.
Hi, Magister.
What was an elven mage doing in Velen?
Well, I tried to ask him, of course, about everything.
Of course.
Oh, but you know how elves are. He asked many more questions than he answered.
Elves, am I right?
He say what his name was?
He didn't. And he wore a mask. Very secretive all around, but I liked him. He was intelligent and composed.
He say what he wanted with Ciri?
Only that they were to meet in Velen. He wished to know if she'd arrived before he did.
No, we won't meet Philippa for quite some time.
He leave any message for her?
No, but he asked that were I to meet her, I should lead her to him.
So you know where to find him?
Yes, he said he found a hideout in some elven ruins near the village of Midcopse. I'll go there with you.
Why? Think I'll have trouble finding this place?
I've unfinished business with this elf. He promised me something, but he never delivered it. Besides...
Unnecessary.
I do, that she might be there. And I'd like to see Cirilla too.
Yes, here's my plan for Canada Day. I know, it's not actually Canada Dry.
Let's go then.
Yes, let's.
So what I'm hearing from you guys is it sounds like the typical born but trained. To put this into terminology, the idea is that everyone is born with a ceiling, and that ceiling is it. You can never, ever, ever, ever be stronger than that point. But when you first start learning to use your power, you're nowhere near that ceiling. You're down here. And then training and skill and experience and training and skill experience gets you up to the ceiling. And of course, temporary boosts can push past the ceiling, but those are, by definition, temporary. Does that sound about right?
This is the place.
Been here before?
No. I was hoping the elf would return as he'd promised, or else his waif would appear. At any rate, I've no idea what to expect from this place.
Well, let's find out.
That is a form of political power, Cashel. It's basically the most fundamental form of political power. It's connections. by virtue of his competence and how many people know him and know of his skills, Geralt has a lot of connections to a lot of people at a lot of levels at a lot of societies. So, let's see how often this happens, shall we? So here's number 1. This is actually probably going to be another negative, by the way. Don't worry, I'll explain why.
The Wild Hunt.
What? Phantom Riders? That means... I thought they didn't exist.
I hate to pause here, but I want to emphasize that point. Huthor already said that, but it deserves to be overemphasized, because that really is one of the Wild Hunt's 2 biggest advantages. She is a sorceress of the Lodge, a, formerly, very well connected politically and personally order of sorceresses. And she thought the Wild Hunt didn't even exist. Now, granted, as we already talked about, Keira was kind of low tier, but you get my point, right?
Feast your eyes on the non-existent, then. Got a navigator with them.
What?
Hey, Zeiss.
Can you teleport us to the other side?
I'd rather teleport us home. Do you really mean to follow them?
Teleport. Hurry up.
Not sure I like any of this.
I mean, I hate teleports. Well, that's not true. I love them. But Geralt hates them. Yeah, that's kind of my point, Hazardous.
Ready. Follow me.
Okay. Oh, no.
Portals. Wonder where Keira is now.
Hello again, SJ. Oh god, Zeiss. Oh god, I remember getting lost down here several times. Oh god, Baron, we just had a whole discussion about that like 20 minutes ago. The Wild Hunt is a large-scale army with a few advantages. There you go. There's the Wild Hunt. Hey, shoot. Keira. Oh, Keira.
Geralt, do something! They're crawling out of those holes! Use a sign or bombs, anything!
Stay calm. They're only rats.
I hate rats!
Keira, ladies and gentlemen.
Get them off! Ah!
What, didn't I get them all? Oh, right, I need to do this.
Thank you.
You that afraid of rats? Could have annihilated them with one spell. Fine, won't say anything. So what happened to you?
There's something here. Something that distorts teleportation. I've no idea how they managed to get to the other side problem-free.
Wild Hunt's teleportation magic is different. Got specially trained mages for that. Navigators, they call them.
They can have 3 helmsmen and a parrot for all I care. I'll not risk that again.
Let's go. Wild Hunt got a good head start on us, but we still stand a chance.
Have you gone completely mad? We must leave here at once.
No, I think that's absolutely deliberate, Uthor. Because it's either they're incompetent or they're not. That's really what that question boils down to, Uthor. And I do think that they are fairly competent. I will give them that.
I gotta know what the Wild Hunt's doing here.
But we came to find the elven mage, not fight the hunt.
If they reach him first, we won't get a chance to talk to him. Besides...
Go on. Finish. Wait. You've got some special interest in the hunt. Is this about Ciri? There's something you've not told me, isn't there?
Come with me and maybe I will.
Are you always like this? I'm beginning to feel sorry for Triss and Yen.
Oh, very well. Let's go.
Wait for it. There it is.
Not-Quite-Lorerun.
That's him. That's the elf.
What was that? An illusion?
No, a morphotic projection.
A what projection?
Something akin to a postbox for mages. Much safer than an ordinary letter, which anyone can intercept en route to its recipient.
Message was definitely for Ciri, daughter of the Gull, Lara Doran's heir.
Indeed. It is what the elves would title Ciri. But what was the bit about the sign of her sword? A riddle?
Yeah, not a hard one, though. Not if you know Ciri named her sword Tirel, Swallow.
Come now. Who aside from you would know that?
Might have been the point. Your elven mage secured the passage, hid it, so that only Ciri could find it.
He failed to foresee that someone like you would show up.
Nevertheless, I think he was expecting uninvited guests. Made some preparations. Let's hope the Wild Hunt ran into some obstacles.
Well then, let's go. Do you think following the swallows will suffice?
We'll see.
She didn't do it. Okay, we're cool. We're cool.
An old elven port.
Must have been how they got here by sea.
I wonder how long ago that was.
Yeah, let's go do this.
Careful. That oily yellow vapor, it's toxic.
I hardly need instruction from you. I recognized the Not-Quite-Lorerun immediately.
Vesemir told me that soon after he'd learned to cast Igni, he tried it out on a patch of these mushrooms.
Terrible idea. What happened?
Well, he survived. And wounds heal awfully quick on young witchers. Come on.
It's funny, I usually like that concept much, but I agree, they don't do it that often in this game. Although that's probably because we usually don't encounter that many magically inclined people. Don't do it, don't do it! Okay, we're okay.
How you like that silver?
The wraiths. I actually will admit I'm not a big... I'm not that well versed on the nature of undeath with regards to this setting. So I'm not sure what really defines a wraith versus, you know, necrophages. That's true, Keira. Alright, I don't remember what to do here. Anyone want to remind me? Because I don't remember, and every frickin' time I play this game I get caught at this part and be like, ugh. Shut up.
A swallow. Seems we're headed the right way.
Aha! Never mind, we're good. So what's an undead in this setting? Or is there such a thing? Yeah, I actually distinctly remember the first time I played this game. I got pretty lost here and got pretty frustrated and put it down for a bit.
That other pillar with the projection.
See, that's actually what I thought, Uthor. But I didn't want to presume such a thing.
Cyril.
The obvious route is not always the best.
Cyril. Ni fordo sol esser in. Hail silla kelpi.
Kelpie? Does he mean that sea monster?
No, that's what Ciri named her mare. Horse could apparently gallop like a demon.
Good name for a horse. So, shall we look for it?
Gavella Glan.
Yep.
Cyril. Ni fordo sol esser.
Going off a really vague memory here. Do it, SJ. Do it! Okay, maybe I should have interacted with something back here.
Another horse. Almost exactly like the last one. Let's see what this does.
Geralt, I don't know what you did, but it worked. Come back here.
There we go. Type 1 undead is functionally a golem, Luslins. So, for example, if I were to animate a bunch of bones together in the form of a skeleton and, you know, be like, go attack something, that's a Type 1 undead. It is technically not undead at all. It simply is usually called undead because of its nature.
Look, they're opening.
But yeah, flesh golems, animated bones, abominations, that kind of a thing.
Let's go.
The big point about a Type 1 undead...
Now I know what distorted my effort at teleportation. This very portal.
And I know why I landed in that drowner nest.
You should be pleased you emerged from the portal in one piece.
And everyone still wonders why I hate to be teleported.
We must try to activate it.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Wait, that didn't do it.
I think that's a... swallow.
It worked. Come.
Sure it's safe.
Gavella Glan.
Yep.
It's grown awfully quiet.
Is that bad?
A bit like the calm before a storm. I've a bad feeling about this.
Tyrael not recognized. Intruders. Destroy the intruders.
So this fight was actually a lot of fun when I first fought him. Or no, it's not actually this fight, is it? No, it's not this fight. My bad. It's not this fight. So we'll just kill him. It, I suppose.
Gavella Glan. And that would be that. I knew we'd manage.
That's so? Make sure and tell me beforehand next time.
My intuition's a fine instrument, Witcher. Don't underestimate it. I've some very good feelings about you, for instance. In several domains.
Keira, honey, could you just keep it in the pants for just a little while longer, please? Please. We all know Geralt has only one true love. I guess that one true love. Excuse me. And we all know who that is, right?
What will you do? Any plans?
Depends what she wants.
Imagined it. How it will transpire. What will she say? What will she look like?
No.
I'm sorry for getting ahead of myself. At times I forget. We hardly know each other. Certainly not enough to discuss personal matters.
Not to worry. We'll get there.
I like the Shawnee response.
Teleport over there.
We must activate it quickly. I've a feeling another golem's about to surprise us.
That's not what I hit. Come on.
Another swallow.
Look, it worked. Come on. Look, we've managed to cross the bridge. This is where we saw the wild hunt.
Great. Means they're way ahead of us. Come on.
Ah yes, the Trollologia.
Wild hunt. Definitely.
They destroyed the Mage's sentries. They didn't come here for a friendly chat with the elf.
Meaning you ever thought they might have?
What the heck is Ocean Man? Also, notice how many golems they froze here. I only point
before they could attack.
I want to point this out because this is interesting. On the one hand, I've never even heard of that. What is that? What the heck is Ocean Man? On the one hand, this showcases how this is what a lot of fiction does, where it's like, my God, the villain is so much more powerful than us. Look at all the enemies that they defeated, right? A lot of games have used this trick, where you'll fight one of a thing, and it's a boss, and then the enemy has just crushed 5 or 6 of the thing, right? Probably best done, in my opinion, in FF7. But what's really interesting here is the fact that they didn't actually defeat these guys. They just froze them. Now, I point that out because this is, in my opinion, actually well-written and brilliantly subtle. It gets across the idea that the frozen hunt... Like if you're looking at it on the surface, it's like, oh my god, the wild hunter's so powerful. But they're not. They're just using their advantages. And in so using their advantages, they can accomplish what others cannot. Because they just freeze these golems before they can even fight them. So they don't actually defeat them in the strictest sense of the words. It's a nice touch, and I wanted to comment on it.
Shadows.
This is the fight I was referencing earlier. This is the fight that I enjoyed. I was stuck at it for a while, but I did enjoy it. And yeah, this is also one of the first times we really get to see what the White Frost can do. Especially when utilized. We're still not at that fight? Oh, whatever. It's coming up soon. It's a fun fight. We gotta fight their dogs, basically.
The White Frost. Mage from the Hunt summoned it. Can you seal those cracks it's blowing through?
They're too far. We must get closer. I shall shield us with Demetia Crest's surge. Stand at my side.
So notice how, once again, their approach to this is just to open up portals. That's functionally all they did, was just opened portals. But simply by doing so, it became a deadly serious threat, thanks to the nature of the White Frost.
Hey, Nicola!
We must close them!
Want me to go?
I'll do it! Just cover me!
Those hounds suck, though. But this was a fun boss fight. When I first did it. And a cool song, too. In fact, I'm gonna shut up so you guys can hear more of it.
Angal Scamina!
I'm beginning to think we might make it.
I'll just hang it out here. Oh, God! Just wanted to show off the effect. Well, I agree. This is actually... this is what a sorceress and a witcher can do in combo. Not at a high level, but it is still a good showcase of the advantage of teamwork here. Sorry, Keira. Whoop! Whoops.
Just one more.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nicola!
I could see that, Corrales, yeah. Suddenly we're playing Frostpunk. Well, that's because Yennefer and Geralt are basically an old married couple. For good and for bad.
It worked! Darian Annoy!
Keira! What's wrong?
It'll pass. That took a great deal of power.
Just don't faint on me.
Now, in your firm embrace, not on your life.
Love to be able to say we could stay here a while and rest.
I know. We must go on.
They blocked the passage. Maybe I can try.
Leave it to me.
Oh, I'm almost positive she exaggerated that. Considering how hard she tries to get into Geralt's pants later, come on.
Gavella Glan. Come, we might still catch them.
Thanks for your help. Pretty tough slog.
Good thing I came with you. You'd never have managed without me, would you? Come now, admit it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, never.
He awaits us.
Hey, Lord Firestorm. Hope work was okay today. So here's the actual boss fight in here. I think.
You're stubborn one.
Geralt, I shall help you.
Step back.
Stop telling me what to do.
Damn, you're ugly.
I wonder how long you last.
So here's a question for you guys, and I know this is going to sound like a strange question, but why do we use a silver sword on the Wild Hunt?
Geralt! Geralt, look! He's opening a passage!
Stay calm. Focus.
Yeah, this is a pretty rough fight my first time through, I agree. Because silver is for monsters. Okay, so how about an actual answer? I know this sounds like a strange thing to comment on, but I have heard many people argue just that one small point. The argument usually boils down to the idea that silver is apparently something that those who are not native to this world are weak to. The biggest argument against that I usually hear is that, well, then why does it affect humans and dwarves? So yeah, to put it simply, I've heard a lot of people argue this, and yeah, I agree with Uthor, basically. I don't think there's a real reason for it in lore. I think it's a pure gameplay conceit.
Are you well and whole? I feared.
Unnecessarily. Let's look around.
If I've my knickers on straight, this looks like the elves' laboratory.
Elves are from this world, but not the Wild Hunt elves. They are from another world. Yes, there's 2 elves in this group.
Alright, let's watch this message.
Ciri, this place is no longer safe. Do not tarry here long. Trust no one, and above all, beware the witches of Crookback Bog. Try to reach the place where last we were together.
Where last we were together, not much to go on. Damn it.
Perhaps it's best he didn't leave a clearer message. The Wild Hunt broke in here. Surely they saw the projection.
They searched everything, and if they had more time, they'd probably have torn the place to the ground. But that doesn't change the fact that we haven't learned anything. Not about the elf, not about Ciri.
Well, we know they were well acquainted and traveling together.
Wonder why they split up.
Perhaps because the Wild Hunt was on the elf's trail, and Ciri would be safer if they did.
The witches of Crookback Swamp.
Crookback Bog.
Keira, if you're hiding something...
But I didn't say...
Why didn't you say anything earlier? I told you Ciri had a run-in with a witch.
Well, I had no idea you meant them. If I'd told you something, you would have rushed off to find them. But we needed first to confirm that Ciri was here, didn't we?
She's bad at manipulating.
She'll tell you everything now, of course.
Now? After I safely led you through the cave?
I can't believe you'd think so poorly of me. Perhaps you do bear a grudge against sorceresses.
Mm-hmm. Can't imagine where that comes from. You know these witches?
I've never met them, but I've read of them. In an old manuscript I found in one of the huts in the village. It mentions the village witches venturing into Crookback Bog at times to liaise between the villagers and the crones, the ladies of the wood. The crones appear to be intolerant of outsiders, but they help the local folk. Apparently, they stopped the spread of the plague in Velen.
What's your take on this?
I'd love to shrug it off as the nattering of so many old women, yet throughout my first fortnight in Velen, I had horrible nightmares. Something was calling me out into the swamps. One night, I decided to enter the dream consciously, render it lucid. I confronted the thing directly. It broke contact at once. Peaceful nights ever since.
How do I find them?
The swamps are vast, dangerous, but they say the crones mark the way for peasants who wish to visit them. The manuscript mentions a chapel in Crookback Bog, and from that chapel one must follow a trail of treats.
Treats?
Of course. They didn't read you bedtime stories at Kaer Morhen. All normal folk know that witches live in gingerbread houses poised atop chicken legs.
I'll have to see that to believe it.
Take the tome and read it. I truly do believe you'll find your Cirilla. All right then. As a start, let's look for a way out of here.
Good idea.
Why do we even come?
I mean, you're the one who wanted to come here, lady. No, that wasn't it. What book did she just give us, Duncan? This is one of these. Oh, there it is. The gods have abandoned us. The mighty of this earth care not for our fate. Only the ladies of the wood watch over Velen. In foul times, when plague and famine reap their harvest, we must beg the ladies for help. If they see fit, they'll hear our plays and knock back fortune's foul blows. This is how one begs for help from the ladies. Find a child, young, innocent, carry it back to Crookback Bog. Seek out the lady's shrine, 'tis where the trail of traits begins. Set the child off on the trail, and it shall follow the sweet track and find the good ladies. The child will never want for anything again, for the ladies are kind and generous. Stand before their shrine, pronounce your supplication, and the good ladies will hear, for they see and hear all that takes place in their domain. If you made the offering as it must be done, your plea shall be heard. Yeah. I mean, it's only incredibly terrible.
Strange. My medallion's trembling, but there's nothing here. What's with this wall?
It's an illusion. I sensed it as well. I expected we might run into such things, so I brought this.
Meaning what?
The Eye of Nahalani. It dispels illusions. It's easy enough to build, so you're welcome to this one. It's bound to come in handy. And each time it does, you will think of me.
Thanks.
Actually, that makes sense, Nascosta, and I've heard that same explanation, too. Hang on, I'm being told I didn't read the whole thing. I think I'm being lied to. Oh, no? Sure. I only see the one page. Like I am being lied to. Holy crap! Everyone stab Duncan! With a spoon.
Let's see where the passage leads.
Do you feel that? A flow of fresh air from the left. Must be an exit that way.
Good. Let's get out of here.
Wait, there's still the magic lamp.
The magic what now?
Lamp. The elf promised it to me in exchange for my help. And since his return here seems doubtful, I must retrieve it myself. If I can find it, that is. Will you help?
Yeah, I'll help.
Splendid. Come then.
I mean, that would make sense, Loner. Up!
We're certain to find something here.
Jesus, Alex. We had that a few weeks ago.
A damned riddle to me.
Actually lost power as a consequence. Hi, Wilson. Oh, this step. Oh, I never remember how to do this one.
Damn it.
Yeah. Die. So,
Seems we did something wrong.
Just wonderful.
Seems we did something wrong.
okay, 3. Well, a gland. Very important. I'm gonna guess 2 next. It's 2 or 1.
Wait.
Or 4.
Something just happened.
Behind that wall, a movement.
So I'm gonna guess 4. And 1. Typical pattern.
Worked.
I missed a click. Thank you, Plowdy.
Whose grave is it? What do you think? No inscription, sadly.
Sign of the gull. If I didn't already know where she was buried, I'd guess this is Laura Doran's sepulcher.
Perhaps it's a monument to her.
Can't see the elves commemorating her this way. Heroine of a tragic legend to some, but most see her as a traitor to her race, who got her just deserts for marrying Cregennan of Laud.
Perhaps the elven mage is Lara's kin. It would explain why he's helping Ciri.
Possible. This what you're looking for?
Uh-huh.
So what's it supposed to do?
I hope I'll be able to activate it. Let's leave this place, shall we?
Find an exit. Well, I can do that. I'll go slowly so she can keep up.
Something here. Where's that artifact Keira gave me?
Not yet, Duncan. We haven't even met him yet. Good night, Nero's ass. Have a good one. You coming, Keira? God. And generally, no. What you gonna do? Sorry. Didn't mean to sound like I was ignoring you.
Lost. But it was worth it, right? You learned something about Ciri in the end. Something important. Do you intend to venture into Crookback Bog? You must tell me about it afterwards.
Don't know that I'll get the chance.
Geralt, there are 2 types of men. Those who see opportunity and take advantage, and those who forge the opportunities themselves. I've always seen you as an example of the latter. Besides, I've a favor to ask you. So, visit me sometime?
Yeah, sure.
I'll stop by. You can be sure.
In that case, I shall be waiting.
See ya, Keira.
Well, let's look at our time. Hazardous. Think we could do the tower in about half an hour? No pun intended. I think we could. I don't have too much to discuss for the tower. But at the same time, I don't want to rush it either. So, Yeah, the problem is I want to do most of the Keira stuff in one bundle, and I definitely want to discuss Keira since, duh, right? Just looking at what I have that I could do right now, which it's actually not that much, weirdly enough. We could go see the Baron. Lord knows the Baron thing is a nice long chain that actually dovetails into 2 other chains. No, I think we're going to cut off here.